This is Free Talk Live. Welcome to the live Saturday edition of the program. As always, you're invited to join us here toll-free, 855-450-FREE like freedom. And you can bring up anything that you want. That is the point here on Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well. Our Skype username is lrn.fm. Coming up here tonight, police are reportedly claiming that a Brooklyn teenager consented to sex with police while in their custody.
That almost sounds impossible to me.
That's what Natasha Leonard says. She says that's impossible over at The Intercept. We can talk about why that is in case it's not immediately obvious to you. And we got other stuff that we can talk about, including the latest from Catalonia and more. Your calls and thoughts are welcome. Also, Trump's travel ban overturned by another federal judge. 855-450-FREE like freedom. But we're going to go to the phones to start things out here tonight. Christopher Cantwell is on the line, calling us from Albemarle County Jail. For those that don't know who Christopher Cantwell is, he is a former co-host here on Free Talk Live who sadly took a racist turn, and we had to cancel his co-hosting ability. But, of course, it's an open phone show, so we still welcome calls from anybody, anywhere, and that includes from inside a jail cell, which is where you're sitting right now, Chris, because you were arrested after the Charlottesville race riots. I don't know what you want to call it. There was a protest that some of the folks from the alt-right, a.k.a. white nationalists, they had down in Charlottesville, and then a bunch of anti-fascist, Antifa people came out to have a fight, and a fight ensued. And you were involved with pepper spray in that fight, and apparently the state of Virginia doesn't like pepper spray very much, even if it's used, as you say it was, in self-defense. Welcome back to Free Talk Live. One thing before we go to why you were calling tonight, Mark, you'd pointed out off the air that some of our listeners had found an article last week, I think it was last week when Chris called into the show. He had said that the woman who died after a car went careening down a road in Charlottesville being driven by one of the white nationalists, that Chris, you had made the claim that that woman had that you had heard that she had died of a heart attack from having witnessed the car, barreling down the road. But Mark, didn't you say that one of our listeners had posted an article?
Right. So there was an article that corroborated Chris's story, and that was a quote from her mother, the victim's mother. But once the autopsy came out, it's blunt force trauma, probably caused by a big automobile.
Okay, so just so we're clear, I was onto something there, but it seems that that story has since been contradicted. Is that the case?
You may have had some bad information.
I don't know when I can't tell you the timelines. I'm just saying that this is what is considered to be true at this moment.
Right. Okay. And when you're in a jail cell, it's hard to get any kind of information.
It's difficult for me because all I can listen to is the television and the Washington Post and the Daily Progress, which is a bunch of communist propaganda, and so it's a little bit difficult for me to stay up to date. So thanks for straightening me out there.
No problem. Regardless, you're being held with no bail in a situation that doesn't have anything to do with anything as serious as running someone down. I mean, you were involved in a fight. That definitely did happen. There's video of that, and you admit that. But you're saying that this was an act of self-defense. But regardless of whether or not it was an act of self-defense,
I should clarify. I'm not in here for the act of self-defense. I pepper sprayed someone in self-defense, and that is what I thought I was being charged with. And what it turned out is that two people who I had no violent interactions with whatsoever are accusing me of attacking them unprovoked. They are liars. They are perjuring themselves. I am falsely accused. I'm a political prisoner being held against my will without bail, because my political enemies stalked me for days and then made false reports to police twice in one day.
Yeah, and there's even video that has yet to come out of one of these, what may be one of these people actually attacking you the following day after the initial protest that had happened on that Friday night. So there's some real kind of nasty things going on, I think, on both sides here. I'm sure there are some very not so innocent and very guilty people on both the Antifa and the white nationalist sides here. But regardless, you are being held without bail. I want to clarify
here. No, really there isn't, okay? And, this is part of the reason I called you today is because I'm really hoping to de-escalate some of the violence that's going on here, okay? But the truth of the matter is that the law enforcement has basically declared an open season on us. We are being attacked in the streets, and nobody is doing anything to stop it.
Now, who's we?
Cannot act surprised.
Who's we?
We is anybody who's been deemed a racist at this point, which if you're white, it's going to be you at some point.
Well, I mean, I'm not a racist, so I don't think that's going to be a problem.
When was the last time you got called a racist? It was probably within the last year, right?
No, Ralph called me white guilty this past week, but I guess that's
white guilty. Okay, well, white guilt is I got a book about that.
I do often feel like if I don't toe the line on precisely the liberal propaganda at any given time, that people think to themselves, "You bigot."
Well, put it this way: look how hard you guys have to go out of your way to distance yourselves from my views. You guys have people call into this show with all sorts of whacked-out ideas all day long, and well, not all day long, from 7 to 10 p.m. Sunday through Sunday, right? But you have guys call in here with all sorts of ideas that you disagree with, and you do not feel the necessity to go at the beginning of the call and at the end of the call and 3 or 4 times throughout the call to distance yourself from the views of the people who call in. You only feel compelled to do that.
That's because we'll just argue with them and we'll disagree with them during their call. But with you, it's different, Chris, because you're somebody who I consider to be a friend, and I understand that it's. A lot of people don't understand how that can be the case, and I've gone into a lengthy explanation as to how somebody who is a peace minister can be friends with somebody who does not advocate for peace and can try to model peace and love and forgiveness to that individual. But because we have such a long history, it behooves us to bring our listeners up to speed with why we're chatting in a friendly manner with Christopher Cantwell, one of the most, infamous white nationalists in the country at the moment. So it's really more of a recap than a technique than it is anything else. But yes, it does function as a disclaimer of, hey, even though we're talking with this guy, we don't share his belief system. As a lot of people would jump to that conclusion, I think, based on this. So anyway, you were calling for.
I guess what I'm trying to get at here is this: have you ever heard of a concept of anarcho-tyranny? Okay. It's like this idea that laws are selectively enforced. Okay, so one group of people has a certain protection of the law, and another group of people does not have that protection.
Sure.
Now,
like the cops.
It gets worse than that. We're talking about private citizens in this particular discussion. Okay, so let's take, for example, in July of this year, there was before the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, there was a KKK rally at the same park. Okay, and at that demonstration, we had a bunch of Antifa, violent communist agitators there.
Did you just say we? Are you now part of the KKK?
I am not part of the KKK. My cellmate is. I've been called a Klan member for so many years. I finally met one after I got locked up. But no, I'm not the KKK.
Is there there is a difference though between the KKK and white nationalists, isn't there?
I literally don't even know.
No?
I've never been to the KKK website. Literally, the first Klan member I met was my cellmate. Okay?
Gotcha.
So
right.
I can't speak intelligently to what the Klan is about.
So you're not part of the KKK. Got it.
I am part of the people who hate the communist agitators. Okay, that's what I'm getting at. All right. So we, meaning I'm on the right. Okay, and I'm trying to stop these leftist scumbags from destroying my race and nation, okay? So at that July KKK rally, there's let's describe, this is broadcast radio, so I should describe her as an obese, purple-haired black female, okay? And I'll just use those terms because we're on broadcast. And she decided that she was going to block the entrance to the park where they were going to bring the KKK in. And the police said, well, you're not going to be able to do that. We're going to have to remove you. And she laid down and refused to be moved, and then they dragged her away. Okay, now she was charged with obstruction because she was blocking a path. Now, maybe you think that's a fantastic thing to do. Maybe that's just some civil disobedience, whatever, okay? She goes to trial. She is found not guilty in court. Now, the reason that I think that this is significant is because the laws are being applied differently to Evan McLaren and Evan D'Amigo, who went before the same judge with the same prosecutor because they refused to leave the park on August 12th. And they were charged with failure to disperse. And I want to read to you a piece from the Daily Progress. This is actually from the Associated Press.
Hold that thought, Chris Cantwell. We'll continue here. Sentencing disparities, are they real? Absolutely. There's more coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live.
Book Club Radio.
Today we're chatting with Mike Papantonio, leading trial lawyer and prolific author. His latest novel, Law and Vengeance, is a non-stop, action-packed legal thriller. We spoke with him about the book and the real-life issues that inform and inspire his writing.
You would think, especially in the legal profession, that women should have every opportunity to excel. The glass ceiling in the practice of law is no different anywhere else. Over the years, I've worked with some of the most talented female trial lawyers, and Gina Romano is kind of a composite of that. You know, she has the tenacity, she has the compassion, she has the intellect, she has the training, she just has it all. And when I really see a very talented female trial lawyer, that's what I see. So she's a creation from all that. People that I've actually tried cases with and women I've tried cases against. And that's where Gina Romano comes from.
On the heels of the critically acclaimed legal thriller, Law and Disorder, comes Law and Vengeance, the latest novel from famed trial attorney Mike Papantonio. Law and Vengeance follows the law firm of Bergman Dichotomus, who is now in the crosshairs of a weapons manufacturer. But this is not a law firm that plays by all the rules. Based on a real case, Law and Vengeance, the riveting new legal thriller by Mike Papantonio, is available wherever books are sold.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are two Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can join us right here, toll-free, 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. If you want to reach people with the ideas of liberty, you can do it from the back of your car with libertystickers.com. You can reach thousands of people with a bumper sticker, and you know that people love to read them, so check out the vast selection of witty, poignant, pithy, and downright bombastic liberty-oriented messages at libertystickers.com. As we continue here, Ian and Mark in the studio, we'll take your calls about anything. We're starting out with Christopher Cantwell, who's calling us from the Albemarle County Jail as he is in custody with no bail. Now, his views on race, and of course you can tell he's in jail because the phone's terrible. I don't know. Did you switch phones, Chris? Because this one's really bad.
I called you back with the same phone. I'm hearing that click. I have no idea what's going on.
All right,
I usually don't have this problem.
Yeah, well, it is jail, and so phones can be like that in jail cells. Anyway, so just a quick recap. Chris Cantwell, former co-host of the show here, we had to boot him off because he turned into a racist out of nowhere, and now he's one of the most prominent and infamous racists ever since in America, ever since the Charlottesville protests that happened back in August, for which he was arrested and then held with no bail. Now, you may find his views despicable, but he shouldn't be held, in my opinion, with no bail. As you put it, Chris, you're a political prisoner, and you were going to get into
The system should work fairly and justly for everyone.
But it doesn't, and that's one of the things you're pointing out to us tonight. You were comparing a few different cases regarding a KKK rally that happened also in Charlottesville, but earlier in the summer, where somebody was allegedly blocking a path, was arrested for that. One of the Antifa people was blocking a path, and then a couple of the white nationalists were also arrested later on because they wouldn't leave the park. And you were about to read a statement from the judge as to why sentencing was what it was. Go ahead, tell us more.
Well, it's not even sentencing. Okay, so Nathan D'Amigo and Evan McLaren were charged with failure to disperse. They were found guilty. Veronica Fitzhugh is a leftist who was found not guilty. Okay, so the judge found not guilty against her, and the judge's name is Robert Downer Jr. and the prosecutor, his name is Dave Chapman. Okay. And these are the same people who presided over the Fitzhugh case, and the same people who presided over the McLaren and D'Amigo cases, and they're the same people presiding over three of the guys that I'm on a cell block with right now. Okay? Okay. Now, the prosecutor found Fitzhugh not guilty for blocking the path. They found McLaren and D'Amigo guilty of failure to disperse. Now, here's what I want to read to you from this piece in the Daily Progress. Following the hearing, Chapman called the judge's decision shocking and said it ignored the evidence of multiple people blocking access to the park. He said if police had not removed those people, there would have been potential for violence between the protesters and the KKK. Now, that's from the
This was the prosecutor who said that? The prosecutor?
The prosecutor said this, okay? And it's a really important thing to point out, because what we've been saying the entire time, the Unite the Right rally in August, whatever you think of our ideas, folks, we had a permit. And they yanked our permit illegally. The ACLU came to our defense, and we won in court. We had a federal court injunction that they had to give us that park, okay? They did not honor that court order. They put us in proximity to our rivals. Our rivals attacked us, and violence ensued. And what this guy is talking about is the prosecutor in this case knows that Fitzhugh created a problem on July 8th, that if the police had not removed her, that it would have created violence. Okay, so they.
And let me tell you, it's hard. It is hard to beat a charge of obstruction. I mean, I was charged with obstructing government administration when I stood in front of a police cruiser back in 2010, I think it was. And, you can't defend against those charges generally. As long as the cops go up on the stand and say, yep, that person was in the way and they didn't move, then, it's almost a guaranteed guilty. The fact that somebody could have been found not guilty is pretty shocking.
She absolutely has done what she's accused of. Nobody disputes that she's done what she's accused of. And this is a judge, not a jury nullifying. This is a judge deciding that he's not going to enforce the law on this person, but he's going to enforce the law on the other side. And that is a very dangerous thing, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever you think of my views, it's not illegal to be a racist in America yet. Okay,
Chris, thanks for the call tonight, man. I'm going to let you go. I know you had another news article you wanted to comment on, but we gotta get some other folks on here. But I appreciate hearing from you. I know you can always call back another time. Christopher Cantwell there with.
He's got plenty of time to plan his calls.
He sure does. He sure does. So anyway, you're welcome to comment on sentencing disparities or just plain old differences between judges. I mean, as he said, it was the same judge in that particular case. Of course, we've seen. Sort of a somewhat different situation here in New Hampshire, where a dozen of us were arrested for trespass one year at the jail. We were there having a little protest at the jail, and a dozen were arrested. One judge heard like 9 out of the 12 cases. A couple of the cases were dropped, and one of the cases was heard by a different judge. The different judge heard all the same evidence as the first judge, because we're all in the same group.
Yep.
And the other judge, the one judge with the one case, found that person not guilty. And everybody else got found guilty. So, I mean, it was just there's no consistency whatsoever, as much as we might like there to be within this system. And it's unfortunate because it is ultimately ruled by men, not ruled by, these laws.
Right. I mean, the rule of law is a fantasy. And It's a fantasy I believed in for a very long time. I'm like, America's separated by the rule of law. No, it really isn't. There's not a lot of evidence of that. You can't really point out how the rule of law is equitably enforced upon politicians. Charlie Rangel has gone without paying his taxes for many years, from what I can tell. You certainly don't believe for a second that police officers are handing out tickets for rolling through stop signs to each other, right?
No, that doesn't happen.
No, that doesn't happen.
It's called professional courtesy.
Right. Well, right.
There's a name for it.
If order breaks down without the rule of law, then order should be breaking down because we don't have the rule of law in those areas. But it doesn't. And it may be the belief in rule of law is what ultimately works, but not rule of law itself, because we don't have it, and we never have.
And we'll talk more about the rule of men coming up here in moments with this disturbing story out of New York where police are claiming that a female teenager consented to sex with them while she was in custody. We'll tell you more about that coming up. But first, let's go to, I believe we have Abram on the line in Montana. Abram, are you with us on Skype? Hello, Abram. Somebody's there. Hello.
Hi, my name is Abram. I am from Montana.
Okay.
I am 9 years old, and I like listening to your show.
Oh.
And I also like liberty.
Well, that's cool.
I am starting my own business.
What's the business, Abram?
Hello?
Did I pull him off the script?
I don't know.
Abram, what's your business?
Oh, I think he's seizing up. He's on the radio. It's nerve-wracking to be on the radio. Abram, if you're with us, you're going to have to talk. Otherwise, we got to let you go.
A couple of deep breaths and just answer what's the business you're starting up, buddy?
Somebody's getting cues.
I am building a tiny house with my dad in our backyard.
I saw a news story of a young man who just built a tiny house with his father. It's a similar story.
You think it's the same people?
I don't know. I'm going to check that out in the break. But I know that he's been offered already. There's been offers on the tiny house he built.
Wow.
So you've got an opportunity to really make some money here, Abram, and I support you.
I wish you the best. Thanks for the call tonight. Yeah, cute, but not really good for radio. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can bring up whatever you want and take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live's Live Saturday show.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. $39.95 plus shipping and handling. Use discount code GCN and receive 15% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter and get your Bug Assault today.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you're invited to join us here. Live Saturday edition of the program. The number here, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, you've got Ian.
And Mark.
Also, I do want to let you know about Whole Food Multi-Complete.
Yeah, Whole Food Multi-Complete's a supplement that it's so much more than a multivitamin because, you know, when you get a multivitamin at the store, it's a synthetically made thing. Whole Food Multi-Complete is made of real food. It also contains essential nutrients beyond vitamins and minerals. It has antioxidants, probiotics, enzymes, and other nutrients that your body needs. If you were to go to a naturopath and get this sort of all these nutrients, then you'd be spending like $150 per month. And, you know, Whole Food Multi-Complete, they bring it all together. They bring it in packaging that costs you far less. And for me, it helped me lose weight just right away by balancing my gut. I've lost between 10 and 15 pounds without even really understanding what was going on. And now I won't be without this product. I love it. You go to simplifymysupplements.com, learn more. Enter coupon code FTL once you've decided you're going to buy. Just take a look at all those lists of ingredients there, and you will be stunned. It's so much better than whatever you're taking. SimplifyMySupplements.com, coupon code FTL, and you'll receive 10% off this order and every order every time you use that code, FTL. SimplifyMySupplements.com, code FTL.
Back to your phone calls and thoughts. Let's talk to Dave in New Hampshire. He's Dave Ridley from RidleyReport.com. Hello, Dave.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Watching the Catalonia situation unfold, it's so frustrating and heartbreaking to me. I get so angry. I want to do something. And, the only thing I've done is made a few calls to the embassy and so forth, and it doesn't feel very effective.
So for our listeners who may be unaware of what's going on in Catalonia, what is going on in Catalonia?
Well, they're trying to achieve independence, and the central government's stopping them. As you've often pointed out, that the sort of seminal image from that thing is the guy drop kicking, someone down the stairs because they were trying to vote.
The police officer, yeah.
Right. Well, they're trying to stop them. I wouldn't say they've successfully stopped them from declaring independence. In fact, the independence was declared, last week, and then they put it on hold pending final negotiations that they were going to attempt. The Catalonians were going to attempt with the government of Spain out of Madrid, which, of course, that went nowhere because basically Madrid is saying, well, you're not leaving. And we don't really care what you say.
We tried giving you people more autonomy and more freedom, but that didn't work. You can't handle freedom because freedom means sending your money to Madrid.
Right, and so they don't want them to go. And, of course, the people in Catalonia are fed up with being part of the Spanish government. And so, again, they were at the same impasse that they've always been at. And that led to the most recent development, which is earlier today, or when it was today in Spain, but Saturday in Spain, the Spanish government made an announcement saying that they were going to be imposing a direct rule on the region, meaning stripping it of whatever so-called autonomy they had had under the Spanish system and having a complete Spanish takeover of the area. The Catalonian leaders responded to that by saying they would not be accepting direct rule. This is from Reuters. They won't be accepting the direct rule. Spanish Prime Minister announced he would be invoking special constitutional powers to fire the regional government and force a new election to counter their move towards independence. In response, the Catalan president, Carles Puigdemont, who made a symbolic declaration on October 10th after a referendum to secede, called Rajoy's moves, quote, the worst attacks against the people of Catalonia, unquote, since Spain's military dictatorship. And according to Puigdemont, they will be rejecting the move. Now, what that's exactly going to look like, they don't know yet, because he said he is asking the Parliament of Catalan to meet in a plenary session during which the representatives of the citizen sovereignty will be able to decide over this attempt to liquidate our government and democracy and act in consequence. So they are meeting to figure out what their plan is next. Dave, your thoughts on where this all is?
Yeah, the thing that this all provides an opportunity. What's happening in Kurdistan is even more tragic, and Cameroon and more places than I can remember are in the news real lately. I think it's an opportunity to form what I like to call it something like a World Secessionist Council, or a group that unites all of these secessionist movements toward the purpose of secession, but not the purpose of civic unity, but just gets them all together. And I can't find such an organization. At least a cursory search doesn't really turn up anything.
It's really hard to find that organization of individualists, isn't it? I mean, this is
well, not everybody involved in secession movements are individualists.
No,
many
not.
of them may be socialists who want to have more power for their own socialist wealth redistribution program.
But what they're trying to do is get together people that want to see their secession, not to see secession generally, because as socialists, like the Catalonians are, they don't necessarily want secession for everyone. They want it for them.
Sure.
So they say, we consider ourselves an autonomous region. We consider ourselves a distinct ethnic group, all these other reasons, which are fine reasons. But why shouldn't I be able to, if I own my property outright, just secede from whatever government that claims dominion over my property?
You should be able to.
There may or may not need to be, checkpoints set up. I may have to pay some kind of, fee for using their highways and that sort of thing.
You do that by buying gasoline.
Yep, that's fine. If that's the system they want to use, but ultimately, I should be able to make that decision.
I agree.
I'm not going to try to set up an organization like this myself. I've got too much on my plate. But if someone else does, get in touch with me, and I'll be one of your volunteers.
Didn't the Vermont secessionists once upon a time have a conference where they would invite secession people from around, at the very least, the United States, if not globally?
I don't know. The 10th Amendment Center has done things that are, along the same lines, but they're really, they're not striking at the root. I think they tend to be more oriented toward, let's have hundreds of bills that strike down each law individually, as opposed to the one bill that strikes down federal rule in an area.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, I don't oppose the 10th Amendment Center. I like those guys, and I like the idea of nullification. I'm not opposed to it. But I agree with you, Dave. You got to ask for what you want. You got to ask for the ultimate, which would be to leave the United States quietly, peacefully, at least as peacefully as possible. Although, there are definitely some lessons to be learned from this situation out in Catalonia. If the U.S. government's anything like the Spanish government, then it's not going to be an easy road, is it?
I mean, it's the Hail Mary pass that does not have to be caught, because in most places in the Western world, when you have independence movements, the result is the government lightens up. You might not get independence, but the government gives you some concessions.
Well, in this case, in Spain, it sounds like they're going to move in and take over. So I'm not sure if it's working for them.
Spain has definitely overplayed its hand in this circumstance.
It's not the norm. Spain is the exception.
Spain has overplayed its hand. And, ultimately, what is Catalonia going to get with secession? They're going to be, a non-EU member state. Spain's going to block their, their membership into the EU.
Okay.
That's going to make many of the businesses that currently do business in Catalonia, like, what are we going to do? How are we going to do business?
They'll be all right. The UK is going to be fine when they get out of the EU.
Oh, is that a prediction?
Those are all reasons.
Of course.
Those are all reasons to leave Spain, not to be in it. It's just like Ali Izetbegovic said in the Bosnian parliament right before the war. He said, when you listen to the Serbian leader, that's when you know we have to leave Yugoslavia.
Dave, as always, thanks for your call and thoughts. Folks that want to follow Dave can check him out online at RidleyReport.com. He does some great work here in New Hampshire, one of the earliest movers as part of the ongoing New Hampshire freedom migration, where libertarians are coming to New Hampshire from all around the country and around the globe to gather here and to get more effective together. Because if you get a concentration of activists in one place, well, guess what? You become more effective. If you want to learn more about that, check out 101reasonsfilm.com. It's 101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire. Great little documentary. And we'll continue here on Free Talk Live's Live Saturday edition in moments.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the Crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The Crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the Crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the Crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-557-0158. That's 800-557-0158. Again, 800-557-0158.
Now Facebook is rolling out their newest feature, LifePoint, which analyzes users' histories to determine exactly when things went wrong. The new feature combs through photos, status updates, likes, everything that you put on Facebook in order to pinpoint how someone irreparably ruined their life. For example, it might highlight your friend's spring break trip in 2003 when she took her first shot, or your cousin's engagement to a guy named Scott spelled with a K.
So, Facebook must have a lot of depressing information to work with. Well, we look for sadness indicators, positive versus negative adjectives and status updates.
whether you've liked a corporate entity such as Walmart or Arby's.
One of LifePoint's most buzzed about features is the Life Compare function, which lets you see how your mistakes stack up to others.
Here, I'm overlaying my graph with a graph of a childhood friend. You can see his life ended up much worse than mine, which is great.
Anything with a profile has a LifePoint, so you can look forward to finding out when your favorite bands, TV shows, and companies started going downhill.
This is the Onion News Network.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com. Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, live Saturday edition of the show. You are invited to join us here toll free. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. Also, we do have an email list, and you can get on it. We'll send you an email usually about once a week, keeping you in the loop with what's going on with Free Talk Live. You can get signed up for that list by going to freetalklive.com. You'll find the email sign-up box right there, center of the website, kind of toward the top of the page. Check it out, and all the other great features at freetalklive.com. As we continue, we'll take your calls about what's on your mind. Michael is with us, listening to WNIS in Virginia Beach. Hello, Michael.
Hello. What do you two know about Trump's connection
and when
to
did you
the
know
Russian mob?
I know nothing of Donald Trump's connections to the Russian mob.
I don't know anything either.
Why would I know anything about Donald Trump's connections to the mob?
Well,
maybe you read
because
something.
the September edition of the New Republic magazine had a front-page story, Married to the Mob, Trump owes the Russian mafia. And then when you open up to their 10-page article, it's entitled Trump's Russian Laundromat. And it has a subtitle. I'm out walking about. Let me get under a streetlight here.
So Donald Trump opened up a laundromat in Russia? I mean, that doesn't seem like the kind of investments that he'd be into.
Well, here's the subtitle by Craig Under. How to use Trump Tower and other luxury high-rises to clean dirty money, run an international crime syndicate, and propel a failed real estate developer into the White House. Now, you haven't heard about it, and I haven't heard any of the Trump propaganda media, so-called the conservative right. I haven't heard them say anything about it, but all this week they're talking about the Clintons' connections to the Russian mob.
Yeah, I have heard that. I can tell you that much. I've heard that. To me, if I may,
this is an in-depth story. I got it pulled up here, by the way.
Yeah, all I hear when I hear Democrats saying, Russia is what I heard when I heard the Republicans saying Benghazi. I just hear partisan, footballs being kicked around.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly it. And so we know there is no legitimate journalism going on if nobody's talking about both stories at the same time.
I'm not sure I follow.
Now, isn't New Republic a right wing? That's not a right wing?
I don't know.
Publication?
I've heard it before. I've heard the name before, but I mean, sorry, I don't keep up on my political rags.
Well, it's very detailed. It will convince you that Donald Trump had very serious concerns about being indicted, and that's why he didn't bring out his tax returns like every other president for the last 40 years.
Yeah, I hear that they're gonna come out anyway. There's some civil suits, in play or something that's liable to bring out his tax returns.
Right. So here's the question: we know we're in crisis as a nation when we don't have a media that's willing to give us both sides of an issue as important as whether or not our national security has been compromised by the Russians buying both the Democrats and the Republicans lock, stock, and
So
barrel.
let's presume that that's true, that the Russians have bought the Democrats and the Republicans lock, stock, and barrel. Then what?
Well, then we have to go to a convention of states. That's Article 5 of the Constitution. We can throw these rascals out.
How?
We can criminalize those two parties and put them on trial.
But who's going to do that if the Russian government is in control?
Or the Democrats and the Republicans?
Well,
why would the very same people who are under control of the Russians move to restrict the Russians?
Well, here's the thing. I think this explains Comey's action. It explains exactly why he acted the way he did. He knew that both parties were sold out to these foreign oligarchs. And what could he do when he is
He could
not
tell
the
us.
Attorney General?
He could go out in front of that national media audience that he had over and over again and say, the two parties are bought and paid for by the Russian government. I'm liable to be killed after this press conference. Please keep an eye out.
Michael, thanks for the call tonight. Apparently, New Republic is a liberal magazine, so I must have been confusing it with one of those
other ones with a similar name in order
Republic
to create value just by having the name.
The Republic, the word Republic in the title seems like something
know.
you'd see in a Republican magazine.
If they said this is a liberal. The liberal press was their name, then you know what was up.
Right.
It would be the point in doing that.
So, you can bring up what you want here. David in New Mexico, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Mark. Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Yeah, I hear. Can you hear me?
Yeah, very loud. Go ahead.
I'm hoping the Russians don't assassinate us all.
They just might. You've already lost your country. The people that are talking about careful or we'll lose the country, it's already gone. You need to try to get it back. I hear recurring themes like.
Why would I want to get it back?
Well, get it back on your own terms. How's that sound?
Why would I want to get it back at all?
Get it back in any form that you want. Make it into anything that you want.
How about zero? I want none of it. I want nothing to do with the federal government.
That's a subset of what I said.
Yeah, if if the federal government can be bought out, lock, stock, and barrel by the Russians, then by God, what good was it in the first place?
Right. Yeah. Well, it's already been claimed, and for instance, your caller Cantwell is an example. What's happened to me is another example, and there's parallels between the two cases, and in virtually every other case where a whistleblower type person gets abused like that. So what they're doing to Cantwell in that case is. It probably was a setup because for some reason they want to take him down because it somehow furthers the agenda that they have. And as long as they have...
I don't think they knew who Chris Cantwell was before he showed up on, in Charlottesville. I mean, they may have been vaguely aware of him, but his rising star, if you want to call it that, his despicable rising star came about simply because he went down there and happened to be involved in a fight that got video recorded, and on top of that, he was in a 20-minute long Vice documentary of which he was the main interviewee, the subject basically of that documentary within that whole situation.
Yeah, I think his once he became involved with that, his cachet of sympathy was spent immediately or evaporated, and so I mean, obviously the judicial system shouldn't have a cachet of sympathy,
but they're out to get him now, for sure.
But it appears as though it does.
Yeah, they're definitely out to get him now that they know who he is.
I spent an hour and a half on the phone with the FBI yesterday doing some business, and that's just one of the more recent things.
With the FBI?
Yeah, my children were trafficked, and they should be taking jurisdiction in going after the organized crime, the RICO, that illegally trafficked my children. So
what did the FBI agent tell you when you told them that?
Especially when you told them the RICO Act would be used against the New Mexico judicial system.
Yeah, what they do is they understood what I was saying. Well, first of all, they tried to block you, to stonewall, to obstruct you, but I just kept calling back. I ended up calling back 7 times till I finally got an agent.
If they don't want to talk to you, what makes you think they're gonna, after they finally talk to you, do anything of use to you? Or regarding the case?
I have no idea, but the choice is between just abandoning my children.
I got you.
Forever.
You're trying to do whatever you can that doesn't involve violence, and I think there's some. Yeah, I have respect for that, and I appreciate your call tonight, David. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's got to be tough. I mean, Mark, you're the one in the room with a child.
Yeah.
I mean, I could understand why that would be a something that one would dedicate one's life to, even if it seemed completely fruitless at every turn, to try to get the government on your side in that child custody battle.
Any parent says, losing their child is the
worst thing.
The worst thing that could possibly happen to them. Losing it to, in this case, you feel that injustice was done through the family court. There's no recourse. There's nothing you can do to fix it. There's no, there's just, you're just stuck. So it's got to be very difficult.
Our number here, if you want to join us on the radio, 855-450-FREE. We got 2 full hours to go, if you get all 3 of them, for the live Saturday edition, and you can join us, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It's Free Talk Live.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, the Mineral Doctor. You've heard me talk about 90 for Life for years. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 fatty acids. You may not know this, that I've actually designed Arthrodex for animals. That's right. Your pets need 90 for Life, too. Get this essential pet product by calling 877-279-9422. That's 877-279-9422. Again, 877-279-9422.
Kiss your credit card debt goodbye. I'm Pharmacist Keith. Dr. Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy, and myself want to show you how to achieve financial peace, creating an extra income that will last for years to come by joining Dr. Wallach's crusade, spreading his message of better health. To learn more, visit radio.recordedvideo.com. That's radio.recordedvideo.com, radio.recordedvideo.com, or call 866-257-3105 for a recorded message.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, October 21st, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.04 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,281 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.6 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,063. Antiwar.com reports the city of Dickinson, Texas is accepting applications for aid for victims of Hurricane Harvey, but the city is raising eyebrows with the text of their application form, which compels all applicants to swear they are not boycotting Israel and will not boycott Israel for the duration of the aid deal. It's not clear why this is the case. The state of Texas did pass a law forbidding the state from employing contractors who boycott Israel, but the city's form makes no indication that this is an extension of that law. Indeed, the form mentions the funds provided coming from various individuals, businesses, and other organizations to help recover from the hurricane. The ACLU is filing suit, arguing this is unconstitutional and adding that it is absolutely unconscionable for state and local governments to impose political litmus tests for disaster relief funds. Texas Governor Greg Abbott was an outspoken proponent of the law, declaring that any anti-Israel policy is an anti-Texas policy. Multiple states have such a law, but this appears to be the first time anyone has tried to use it to withhold aid. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. UPI reports the percentage of Americans without health insurance rose to 12.3% in the third quarter, according to a Gallup survey released on Friday. The rate of uninsured American adults increased 1.4% since the end of 2016, meaning about 3.5 million people are now without health insurance. The uninsured rate is below the peak of 18% in the third quarter of 2013, prior to access through the exchanges created by the Affordable Care Act. A Gallup statement suggested that the end of some insurance companies' involvement in healthcare exchanges, a rise in premiums due to a lack of provider competition, and uncertainty surrounding U.S. healthcare law may be contributing to the increase in the rate of uninsured American adults. President Donald Trump canceled cost-sharing payments that subsidize insurance plans for low-income Americans on October 13th. He also intervened to deny waivers to certain ACA rules in Iowa, and his administration missed a deadline to apply similar waivers in Oklahoma. Iowa faces a 2018 premium rate hike of 56%, according to their two senators. Oklahoma's health commissioner predicted a premium increase of 30% next year. On Wednesday, Trump said he is opposed to a new bipartisan congressional plan that maintains subsidies for ACA healthcare exchanges. The Gallup survey was based on over 45,000 interviews of adults over the age of 18 from July 1st through September 30th, conducted as part of the Gallup ShareCare Wellbeing Index. Respondents were asked if they have health insurance. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports President Donald Trump has stepped up the pressure on the NFL over protest by its players during the national anthem by launching a petition and asking his supporters to show their patriotism by signing it. The move came after NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell this week rejected calls from Trump to punish players who kneel during the national anthem to protest racism. The petition, published on the website for the Republican National Committee, says the president has asked for a list of supporters who stand for the national anthem. Add your name below to show your patriotism and support. The website, however, did not indicate how many signatures had been received. Players kneeling during the Star-Spangled Banner are protesting the killing of unarmed minorities by police across the United States, as well as protesting racial disparities in the country's criminal justice system. Former San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick, who first popularized the gesture last year, said he settled on kneeling as a form of protest because kneeling is widely seen as a gesture of respect. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
The Onion looks back at this week in history. On May 6, 1937, the explosion of the German passenger ship Hindenburg brought cheer to an entire generation of Americans in the midst of the Great Depression. The souls of the American people were fleetingly revitalized by the flame-engulfed Zeppelin and the shrill screams of burning passengers leaping to their heartwarming deaths.
Oh,
my, it's burst into flames. The burning embers and charred flesh are cascading splendidly onto the mooring mast. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most terrific thing I've ever seen. Oh, the luminosity, the gaiety.
And on May 7th, 2000, Vladimir Putin became president of Russia after promising citizens he could bend anything they gave him with just his bare hands. And that was what happened this week in history. In the words of the Italian philosopher Niccolò Machiavelli, whoever wants to foresee the future must first look at the past and then imagine all that old stuff looking more future-y and space-like.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program. As always, you're invited to join us right here, toll free, 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
As we continue, we'll take your calls about anything you want to discuss. On the way here, we actually never, just because we have so many calls call in already, we never even got into the story, Mark, that you thought was the most interesting to share tonight, which was about the police claiming that a Brooklyn teen consented to sex while in custody, meaning sex with the police while in custody. We'll tell you why that's not possible to ever happen. But first, your calls and thoughts. Here we go to Stephen, who is calling us from the Bitcoin shop, the Free State Bitcoin shop, or I presume that he's somewhere in the vicinity of it because he's likely in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, although I didn't ask you before we put you on hold. Stephen, welcome to Free Talk Live.
Thanks, Ian. Over at the Free State Bitcoin shop, we are helping hundreds of people every week use Bitcoin and learn to use alternative currencies.
I love it.
And we now have in our vicinity 13 retail businesses that take Dash and Bitcoin.
Wow.
Wow, Ian. How many in Keene?
I'd have to go and check, but we're pretty close on that. I would say it's probably at about parity. If we're only talking about retail, then you may have us beat. I don't know. I'd have to take a close look. So you may have claimed the title for most Bitcoin accepting businesses per capita. Congratulations.
Well, and most importantly, a lot of people are now asking, how do I get set up taking Dash and Bitcoin at my business?
Yep.
And the answer is go to anypay.global, which is our point of sale system that we've designed specifically for people who love freedom. And it helps. It's the easiest way to take Dash and Bitcoin at your business.
Yeah, I've been interested in AnyPay, and it's something I've definitely been keeping an eye on because the BitPay people need competition badly. They're the only, until AnyPay, they were the only player in seriously helping businesses get set up with cryptocurrency. But the BitPay people refuse to add anything except for Bitcoin to their network, and so it's refreshing to see a company willing to allow businesses to accept payments in something besides Bitcoin in an easy to accept manner. So that's very exciting. But let's talk about the recent scores, because I know you guys have been putting them out there on Facebook, but most of our audience isn't paying attention to your Facebook page. So what's happening? What's been going on? What are some of the recent businesses that are on board with Bitcoin now out there that weren't 3 months ago?
Most importantly, first of all, the fully immersive retail sensory experience, the Pickwicks Mercantile Empire of Portsmouth is now all on board with Bitcoin and Dash, and they have the most creative stores. They have 5 or 6 around downtown Portsmouth. They're super awesome.
Whoa.
And they're using AnyPay successfully with Dash and Bitcoin. And what they love about it, they were bragging to their customers today, they're getting money that goes straight into their Swiss bank vault. And they're set up with a hardware wallet with, thanks to AnyPay, the customer money goes directly, instantly into their hardware wallet.
Awesome. So you said they have 5 locations. So does that mean that every location is accepting Bitcoin?
That's correct. Every location.
Wow.
That's Pickwicks, Deadwicks, their restaurant, Fezziwigs, also the Strawberry Bank Museum, and more.
That's amazing.
What does the Strawberry Bank Museum a museum of?
The Strawberry Bank Museum is an old colonial town that was along the Strawberry Bank, and it's been preserved to be like it was a few centuries ago.
I see.
What's the Strawberry Bank? Is it like a bank of a river or something like that?
Yeah, right here where Portsmouth was founded, there were strawberries.
Ah, okay. Very good. And so who else? What else did you pick up recently?
Let's see. We got Street Za Restaurant, which is a very popular restaurant in the West End, as well as several, probably half a dozen who are in the process of getting set up right now. So that'll be coming. And
how many of them are coming to you? Because I know that you guys opened the door for the Free State Bitcoin shop back in August. We broadcast from there, I guess, about a month ago at this point. It's already been that many weeks since we were broadcasting there. And you had told us that some of these businesses were actually coming into the store asking about how to get set up. How many of them did you guys go out and kind of prospect versus came to you?
It's about 50-50 now. When we started out, it was 100%. We were going out to talk to people. But since we had some successes and we set up the Bitcoin shop, then now it's about 50-50. And I expect eventually it will be overwhelming that people are coming to us and we have better systems for onboarding them and getting them set up with their business.
Yeah, I mean, this is, we're in a place right now here in New Hampshire where, I mean, there's no doubt this is the place that people who love cryptocurrency and also love liberty want to be moving to. You moved up here just within the last couple of years, and you moved up from San Francisco. Big change of pace, I imagine, but how are you liking it so far?
I love it. It's awesome. People love freedom here, and it's right in the motto, and it's really true. They are totally about being free and independent, and that's such a change from anywhere else. I'm looking forward to the winter. It's going to be great this year. I'm super prepared now, so that's actually an exciting factor.
Get a big beaver hat.
Oh, I have many beaver hats now. I'm prepared for everything.
I love it. I'm so excited about what you guys are doing out there, and I wish I could. I almost wish I could quit doing talk radio so I could emulate it, because it's just so much fun having all those people come into the shop. And we sat there all day and watched this, watched the magic of the Free State Bitcoin shop. As
if you weren't talking, then a lot of our customers come because they hear from you. So it's this cycle of people. And it's just creating a whole economy, and people are hearing from you. They're coming to us. They're learning. They're going back to you. It's great. And it's enriching the people who believe in privacy and freedom here in Portsmouth and in other places in New Hampshire.
Now, you guys turned on the big old Bitcoin vending machine, which I actually just went on to the General Bytes website today, and I didn't realize that the one that you got is called the XXL Plus version of the BATM3, which is the third edition of the General Bytes vending machine that they have. So
I had to have the most beautiful one.
Yeah, you've got the most amazing, big, just impressive vending machine that I've ever seen. Did you ever manage to get the two-way features operational on that? Is that something you can talk about here?
There's not much interest in that. Instead, we're directing people to spend their cryptocurrency with businesses who want to hold on to it.
Okay.
But we are also having a sale this weekend only, 0% commission on BTC at the machine at the Seacoast Rep and at the Free State Bitcoin shop.
That's pretty crazy. So you're just selling at cost. You're selling Bitcoin at cost.
That's right. And we're selling hardware wallets too. We have Ledger and the Trezor.
I love it.
Sale.
I love it. I'm just so excited by what you've done. I hope that other people can emulate this, because I think having more of these little Bitcoin shops popping up would do amazing things for cryptocurrency all around New Hampshire, if not the rest of the world. Just to give people a physical place they can go to ask questions and get a walkthrough, get their hand held while they're getting into cryptocurrency. You guys are doing great work, great activism, and I hope it continues to be a success and grows and ultimately ends up covering all the costs that are involved, because obviously it's hard to get a business off the ground, but you guys have I think you've got a good model out there. Anything else you want to share tonight with our listeners?
Go to freestatebitcoin.com, the freestatebitcoin.com. That's where we post about all the events happening. We have events at least once a week.
What kind of event? What are you doing?
Well, we host the Bitcoin meetup for the Portsmouth Bitcoin Network. And that happens every 8 days. This week, it's at Domo's Sushi Restaurant, which is right on our block. They're like the last business to not take Bitcoin. So
you got to
we'll
get
have
them
converted soon. We're going to get them.
Yeah, Mark would love to go and buy sushi with Bitcoin. He's such a sushi fanatic. Thanks for the call tonight, Stephen. I appreciate hearing from you, and thanks for the continued updates from AnyPay and out at the Free State Bitcoin shop. That's Stephen Zeiler, one of the bloggers over at freekeene.com. I am just so blown away by what those guys have done. I mean, they're just a dynamic duo out there. I mean, the two of them, Derek J. Freeman, former co-host here on Free Talk Live, and Stephen, I mean, they have just alone, so all by themselves, basically cleaned up the downtown for Bitcoin and have recruited multiple businesses into accepting the currency. It's awesome.
I'm just hurt that you called me a sushi fanatic when you know I'm a sashimi fanatic. Sushi's for people who don't want.
Now, what's the sashimi?
Sashimi's the raw fish
without the rice,
not attached to it anyway. Yeah, you can get a bowl of rice.
I see. Yeah. All right, more coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You may dial toll-free here. Bring up anything you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733. You know, we just had Steven Zeiler on the line from the Free State Bitcoin Shop talking about his new AnyPay app that allows businesses to accept Dash, which is one of the reasons why I'm excited about Dash as an alternative to Bitcoin.
Yep.
We've got this crazy Bitcoin forking situation on the way here. It's coming up in the next several weeks. Actually, there's going to be a potential fork next week, and then there's another one that's going to happen a couple weeks from then. So we've got some major turmoil on the horizon in the Bitcoin universe, and I don't know how it's all going to shake out. This is definitely.
How would you know?
Yeah, this is definitely something that we're going to be talking about over the next few weeks here on Free Talk Live. Probably not so much tonight because it is a detailed topic, and so you'll likely hear about it between now and probably before this next fork on October 25th. We'll likely discuss at the very least that one, and then there's the big one that's coming up in November, where literally it could be a disaster. And I mean, I don't know. I realize there was a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt the last time Bitcoin forked, and it all worked out. Like, you know, the value of Bitcoin went up. The Bitcoin Cash that had forked off of it had schismed away from Bitcoin. That you know, created new value out of thin air, basically, or value that, you know, people couldn't have accessed prior. And so it was an unqualified success from that perspective. But I think a lot of people are thinking the same thing's going to happen the second time around, the second or third forks, that the same thing's going to happen, that Bitcoin's just going to keep going up in value.
If people think something's going to happen, it's that much more likely to happen because marketplaces are driven by perception.
That's true. That's true.
That doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying that's that much more likely.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that Dash is out there. It is a stable competitor to Bitcoin.
It's managed in a way that Bitcoin is not managed.
It actually has a governance structure built right into, it's baked into what Dash is. Dash is, of course, digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, it can be private and easy. Fees are low, transactions are quick, and can even be confirmed instantly. You can. By the way, I paid a Bitcoin fee today of 60-something cents to send some Bitcoin.
I paid $2.
Yeah, and then on Dash, I paid some Dash, and it was like less than a cent.
Right, and I paid a $2 on one and 2 cents on another on Dash.
So it's super easy to pay with Dash. It's also decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. And anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. You can take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. In fact, I think I looked last night, and it was at either number 5 or number 6 on the list of the top 10 cryptocurrencies in the world at the moment. So go ahead and go to dash.org and learn more about Dash.
I prefer to use it for sort of day-to-day transactions. You and I...
we just did that tonight.
Yeah, you and I bought dinner, and...
I paid you in Dash.
Yeah,
you covered it in cash, but you wanted me to pay you with Dash.
Yep.
Because Domino's wouldn't take Dash.
But I didn't ask them.
Well, I can tell you, they're probably going to tell you no, because I've asked them about Bitcoin, so I doubt they're going to be taking Dash if they're not taking Bitcoin.
Yep.
So anyway, check it out, dash.org. Let's go to your calls and thoughts. I don't know if it's Kai or Key. Kai, perhaps? You're on Free Talk Live? I'm sorry?
It's Kai.
Kai. All right, Kai, you're on the air.
Well, first off, Ian and Mark, I listened to you guys for about 6 years now. First time calling, though.
Oh, wow. Thanks, dude.
Thanks for the support.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I was calling. I consider myself an anarcho-capitalist. So I've been listening to your show and many other these style shows. There's a lot of people that try to look for like anarchist or liberty-minded songs. So one of the bands that's actually a pretty famous band called All That Remains.
All That Remains or All The Remains?
All That Remains.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're pretty awesome. It's more of a Slipknot style band, but
a what style band?
Heavy metal.
Okay.
Yeah, Slipknot. It's heavy metal. And then also I wanted to point out there's for a lot of people that are into Bitcoin. There's a guy named Peter Peter Harris, and he actually created a co-op blockchain style company that actually is like a stream to own. That's what I was calling about, actually. And basically, you stream the song 7 times, and it will pay for itself, and then you get to own the media product that you
Okay, all right. So hold on a second. You stream a song, and it pays for itself. How does that happen?
Well, I was on his podcast that he was, or his interview of the podcast. He was explaining how it works. Where basically the first listen, basically you sign up through his thing. It's called Resonate. No, I'm sorry, not Resonate. Where is this? Basically, you pay for it by listening to it several times. So, like on Spotify, you'll skip through your songs, but you'll have the ones that you want to come back to.
Mm-hmm.
So you might save those in your folder or whatever. Let me go here. You might save those in your folder and put them in your playlist and listen to them again. So when you listen to them again, the more that you listen to them, once you reach 7 listens, then you will actually own.
But how does that monetize for the company that is getting paid for the song? Like how does that happen?
Well, basically, you have your account and you load your account with money. So,
so
pay
you're paying
for every listen.
You're paying for the listens. It's like a jukebox,
right?
Where you can take home the CD. Okay, that makes a little more sense. I didn't know if it was like an advertiser-supported model or like where you're listening to ads and then the advertisers are paying for it for you or something. You're saying you're literally paying for a play, and then after 7 times you don't have to pay for a play anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's called. Oh, it is called Resonate. Yeah,
all right.
Resonate. So,
well, thank you for the recommendation. Was there anything else you wanted to share tonight?
Yeah, I'd also like to talk about the flag.
Sure.
The United States flag?
A lot of people have been talking. Do what?
The United States flag?
Yeah, and not standing for the flag.
Sure. Okay. What about it?
So I'm actually a dual citizen. I'm Israeli and U.S. So I used to live in Israel. I lived there for 18 months. So I know quite a bit about nationalism and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up here. My dad was always anti-government, anti-U.S., that type of thing.
You grew up here, but your dad was anti-U.S.? He was living here?
Yeah, for the first 14 years of my life, I lived here. We actually converted, and so I'm technically Jewish, but I'm theist now. So, but anyways, we lived there, so I know a thing about nationalism. I've participated in the riots that go on in Israel, that type of thing.
Riots go on
so
in
I've
Israel?
had a lot of... Do what?
I didn't know riots went on in Israel. Okay.
Anyway, go ahead with your point.
Well, in the past. And so I've gotten... I'm pretty against authority, as you might say, and consider myself an anarcho-capitalist, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I go, and I've been to jury duty, whenever the judge says to rise, or whenever they call for the judge that he comes in the room and that all shall rise, like I don't rise, and if they
excellent,
if they so I never rise for any man, I stand for no man, and so I was also taught not to participate in the pledge and all that kind of stuff, and I don't. So
I appreciate that, and I think that you can help set an example for somebody when you don't go along with the group, and encourage people to also stick with their principles. I thank you for the call tonight. There's more coming up here in moments, or find their principles. It's Free Talk Live.
Advertising your business with GCN is simple, effective, and more affordable than you might think. Visit advertise.gcnlive.com for more info. Take your business to the next level. That's advertise.gcnlive.com.
ProPure water filters. Most trusted, most tested. Right now, you can save 25% on the ProPure Nomad Gravity System. Visit an authorized ProPure dealer for details. That's PROPUR.
Are you living your passion? Are you pumped to go to work because you get to talk about or work with or do the things that interest you the most? Is working, playing, and relaxing one and the same? As long as you're working for someone else, you'll never be living entirely true to yourself and your passion. I'm Pharmacist Keith. Let me show you how you can work around your current schedule, create the extra income so you can live your passion. Visit radio.recordedvideo.com. That's radio.recordedvideo.com. radio.recordedvideo.com.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government, the real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Juicy Juice, 100% juice, providing a full serving of fruit in every 4 ounces. Visit us at juicyjuice.com. When it comes to nutrition, kids need both fruits and vegetables every day to stay healthy and grow. For the ideal mix, your kid should have at least 1.5 cups of any veggie or 100% veggie juice, and 1 cup of any fruit or 100% fruit juice a day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Bring up whatever you want. Our live Saturday edition continues with me, Ian.
And me, Mark.
Also, Blink Home Security is on board with Free Talk Live. And Mark, you have set up a multicam system. I have set up one here as well. You can go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. You get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge for one. You can go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. Why is this such a great system? Because it's easy to set up. You don't have to go through some ridiculous hassle of wiring and running wires and drilling holes and then having to set up a DVR. And I've done this before with security systems. Man, they are a pain. And if you don't know what you're doing, you got to hire a professional. With this, even Mark could set up the
and
Blink.
Did.
Yes, and you didn't even have to call me for help, Mark.
I didn't call you, no.
I didn't know until after you were done. Blinkprotect.com/FTL. It's all wireless. It's all set up. If you've got a smartphone, super easy to set up via your smartphone. No wires whatsoever. And, of course, you can add more cams as necessary. Go to blinkprotect.com/FTL to get yours as we continue with your calls and thoughts. Let's go to John. He's in Washington State, listening to KITZ up in the Seattle-Tacoma area. Hey, John.
Hey, I like your show,
Thanks.
and thanks for letting me chime in here.
Of course.
I just want to talk about the United States flag.
Oh, all right.
And I know there's been a lot of discussion and people disagreeing about this, that, and the other thing. You know, nobody owns the flag. Absolutely nobody. The flag belongs to we the people.
Now, does that include a flag that I go out and buy at the store, or does that mean that you have a claim on it?
Is it the concept of the flag you're talking about?
No. The flag, the concept.
Okay. Concept.
The
Okay.
flag is a symbol of our nation, and our nation means something a little different to 320 million people. I think that's how many we have.
And probably a lot of people around the world too, right? Like, I guess 7 billion, and then they may have different opinions at different times, so we could go on billions and billions of different opinions on what that symbol means.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is it means something different to everybody, depending on their life conditions.
I agree.
You know, my father, for instance, was born on the 4th of July, so I have a certain view of the flag in respect to family. You know, I'm also a veteran, but I don't think that the military owns the flag. I mean, I could see a lot of people feeling strongly about it that are in the military or veterans, but I don't think anybody has the right to tell somebody else how they should value and respect the flag. As a matter of fact, dissent is one of the most patriotic things a person can do. And if we wouldn't be a country if we hadn't had our founders dissent.
Yeah, they dissented vociferously, right? Like they dissented to the point that they were willing to shoot their government center of mass. That's high. That's a high level of dissent.
Or throw tea in the harbor. You know, they stepped out of line and they risked their lives and their fortunes to create this country out of dissent. And when people dissent about how to respect the flag, and other people say, oh, no, you can't do that because this is the way you should respect the flag. I don't think that is an understanding of the way we are so unique as a free nation and have the right to self-determination.
Right, which includes doing what you want with your own property. And other people can have an opinion about it, but they shouldn't be able to stop you.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. You got it.
So
all right.
I think that's the first
Thanks, John. Great call tonight, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
Not what I expected when I saw U.S. flag as the subject.
I think John's absolutely right, but I think that's sort of the first level of it. You know, beyond that, it may be that people use the flag as an opportunity. For instance, with the football players right now that are taking a knee. You know, they'll oftentimes put their hands over their hearts. So taking a knee looks like a pretty respectful thing to do. It's not like they're laying flat on the ground or whatever.
So the knee, they're also combining that with a hand over the heart?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I've seen that is an option because they're trying to show, they're trying to protest a situation and at the same time show
reverence.
Yeah, reverence to what best I can tell is a false idol.
Right.
Now, for me, what the flag has become, there was certainly a time in my life when I was all into it and really, I had
Your flag waiver.
Yeah, 76 Eldorado convertible with flags all over it, and I liked that stuff. And still, the flag's an attractive symbol to me. But what I see it as is the thing behind which politicians hide.
Sure.
That politicians go about, we regularly call them liars and thieves, but they're the ones that do the work of the organization that the flag represents. And on one hand, we say the organization the flag represents is full of liars and thieves. On the other hand, we must show respect to the flag. And I think that all this reverence to the flag now gives, in many ways, gives cover to some of the worst people in our society, those that run our government. This organization that has put our great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, $20 trillion in debt, a level of debt that likely cannot be recovered from, and we're worried about whether or not football players are standing up for our favorite song. This shows how the nation itself doesn't deserve the symbol, the virtues for which they claim the flag stands. You don't deserve freedom if you can't even see behind this cursory level of duplicity.
I would say you're right about that. And it seems like most people don't really want freedom. I mean, they might like the idea for themselves, but
handing over control has never worked, though. Like, that's the one area, handing over control of a government
has
never worked. Where is this government that has been good, just, honorable, true, virtuous? Where is it?
Well, what I was going to say was that people who might say on one hand that they want freedom, they may want it for themselves. They may want it for their own life, for their business, their hobbies, the things that they're into. But it's those other people that they don't want to have freedom, whether they be brown people or whether they be, people who are born in a different
Democrats
plot
or
of land.
Republicans or
or whatever,
this
person they disagree with, the weird guy down the street or whatever. They don't think those other people can handle freedom, and that's where the problems really, I think a lot of it stems from, is people aren't willing to allow their neighbors to be free, and so therefore they themselves will not be free, because ultimately the neighbors are going to feel the same way, that you should not be allowed to be free because you're going to do things that they wouldn't do with your freedom.
Which
shows, make it illegal.
Which shows another level of what the government tends to be about. Now, I'm not going to attempt to point fingers here, but it does benefit a state to pit its citizens against each other.
Sure.
When you're worried about whether or not the feminists are trying to take your freedoms or the Republicans are trying to take your freedoms, or whether whomever, whatever the group is, the illegal aliens, the Muslims, and
we heard it from Chris Cantwell earlier tonight. He's worried he's going to lose his nation and his colored people or whatever.
Whatever his thing, whatever your thing is, whatever whoever you fear. It's quite possible that you've been manipulated by the media and by the government to fear those people. Think about it. Quantify how those people, whomever it is that you fear, have actually harmed you, and then compare that to the organization that claims to represent you, that takes money from you on a daily, weekly, monthly, annual amount of money that you're forced to give. In any other circumstance, it would be called extortion. But because we call it taxes, you can't call it extortion.
Well,
right?
you voted for it.
No, I didn't.
You voted for the politicians who voted for it.
Oh, some politician that I've elected at some point? Is that what the claim is?
That's what the claim is, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, mostly the politicians I vote for don't get elected on a national level.
You consent because you're here and you vote at all.
Okay, well, what happens when rich people want to leave? They have to pay a huge tax because even slaves could buy their freedom when we had slavery.
Right.
So an exit tax, as far as I'm concerned, is just paying off slave masters.
Yeah, but you're not even buying freedom because you're going somewhere else where there's other slave masters waiting for you to arrive.
And don't forget that the people in Washington, D.C. will still claim dominion over you because they claim dominion over the whole world.
Our toll-free number here, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can weigh in on whatever topic you want to discuss and take control of the airwaves here. This is the live Saturday edition of Free Talk Live.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories, while I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
In an emergency, you need a fire now. But what if the wood is wet? No problem for InstaFire. Our non-toxic fire starter packs lights wet wood, floats, and can even burn on water or in any weather. Sustains winds up to 30 miles per hour, and each pouch weighs only 1.75 ounces. Need an emergency or camp stove? Get the InstaFire Inferno stove that boils 20 ounces of water in under 3 minutes with controllable heat and temps from 425 to 1500 degrees. Free shipping. Go to instafire.com and use discount code radio30 up to 3 times for 30% off your order. InstaFire. Fire in an instant.
This just in. Before your doctor gives you another antibiotic prescription that you don't want, get this free report, The Miracle of Garlic, your first home medicine. This free report is filled with easy kitchen remedies for common colds, flus, sore throats, ear infections, and more. Plus, learn to boost your immunity before you get sick. Go now to gcnwellness.com. Just like it sounds, gcnwellness.com to get your free report, The Miracle of Garlic. Click gcnwellness.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and of course you can bring up anything here. Live Saturday edition, if you want to join us, our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
As we continue with your calls and thoughts, I do want to let you know that if you're listening to Free Talk Live online, then one of the ways that you can help us out is by going to amp.freetalklive.com. Even if you're not listening online, if you can get on later, you can go to amp.freetalklive.com. Although the bulk of our amplifiers are our internet listeners, just for whatever reason. Maybe the radio listeners figure they're already paying because they're listening to the commercials, whereas the podcasters don't have to.
It's true.
But listen to most of them. So anyway, you want to amp the show, get behind Free Talk Live. You can do it for $5 a month, and you'll get some cool perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only Facebook group, and the AMP-only podcast, which doesn't have the commercials that our normal podcast does. Not that our normal podcast has many. It doesn't have that much to begin with. But regardless, you can help Free Talk Live get on more great radio stations around the country, bring new internet listeners on board, and more, and get all the cool perks over at amp.freetalklive.com. So please check it out when you get a chance. It makes a big difference for us when you do that. ampamp.freetalklive.com. Let's continue with your calls and thoughts. We got Matt in Lynchburg, Virginia, listening to WLNI FM. Hey, Matt.
Hey, guys.
Hey there.
I wanted to make a comment on the flag, but just quickly before I do, I wanted to just encourage all your listeners, before you give a dime to so-called public radio, national propaganda radio, where you will never hear any local caller call in or any opposing view call in, I would encourage people to give money to stations like you have. You take everybody, no matter how much they oppose you or how much they just differ from what you're saying. you'll still let them on the air.
It's
and
true.
that's true public radio. And that's what we need more in this country.
Wow.
Where
Man.
stations where people can give all different opinions, and you'll never, ever hear that on national propaganda radio.
Well, I appreciate that, although I will say that I know that at least here in New Hampshire, maybe you're only talking about the national NPR, but the New Hampshire NPR or NHPR or whatever they're called, they do have a local call-in.
A 1 hour local call-in show, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 hour.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, I think it's 1 hour a day, right, Mark? Is it
That's
1 hour?
correct.
So 5 days a week, 1 hour a day. So I mean, there probably are some examples that are like that in other states. I would guess, but I don't know. I don't listen to NPR for the most part. But Mark, I think you have heard some of their programming. You're kind of a regular NPR
Sure,
listener.
you can get on. They tend to try to keep the emotions out of it all. Everybody's supposed to be calm.
You mean from their host's perspective?
And the callers too.
Oh, really? They don't want the callers to have an emotion?
No emotion, really.
That's weird.
That's it's difficult to.
Will they
discuss
block you if you have emotion? Will they
I'm
be
not
like
claiming that?
Tut! You're too emotional, sir.
Well, you won't stay on long if you get emotional.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, good luck. If you want to call and try to make a comment, go to their website, and good luck finding any way to get in touch with them.
Well, I appreciate
and
the
even their
heads up.
entertainment shows on the weekends, which I just listened to one this morning. Wait, don't. You know what? All the jokes were propaganda and just against Trump, and even a joke about dark chocolate. They had to somehow turn that into Trump's a racist joke. So, but anyway.
And everybody's forced to pay for that, by the way. The NPR,
no,
of course,
they're
is
not.
taxpayer.
Well, okay.
Taxpayer funded.
They do raise some money too, and
12%, about 12% of their budget
really
is taxes.
Hey, thanks for the call, Matt. Thanks for your sharing your thoughts here tonight. And it is open phones every night here on Free Talk Live, and we are 3 hours per night. So if you didn't know, maybe you're new to the show, 7 to 10 at night Eastern Time. Those are our live times. So whether you're listening live or not, you can always call in and join us. And we prefer people who don't agree. I'd like to make that clear. Like, I don't want to talk to the choir all the time. It's not really that interesting to me. I can talk to those people on Facebook if I want to.
Well, you're not going to learn anything new by talking to people who agree with you all the time.
No doubt.
It's it's stuff that it's people that disagree with you are going to have hopefully some good points. They can't be all wrong, right?
All the time. Yeah.
I mean, this is what I find so interesting about the Democrats and Republican debate in this country is it's amazing.
They're always wrong, the other
how
side.
many people out there believe that other party is wrong
every time,
100% of the time.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, this is how you know you're a partisan, and this is how you know that your opinion is irrelevant.
Right. Let's go to James. He's in Charleston, South Carolina, listening to WTMA. Hello, James.
Oh, hi, Ian and Mark.
Hey.
Thank you for taking my call.
Our pleasure. Go ahead.
I came in on the tail end of y'all's last hour. I'm happy that y'all brought up Christopher Cantwell, and I was hoping that y'all had mentioned that he's a political prisoner and everything.
We did.
He certainly did.
That's. I was a bigger sure. Yeah, that's awesome. And he there's a couple other fellows that got arrested. In Gainesville, and maybe they were justifiably arrested, maybe not. But
are these the people that shot at somebody?
Well, they were attacked, from what I understand, and sort of like how where the person whose car ran into some people down in Charlottesville. The car was attacked beforehand and everything, and
allegedly,
so they were fearing for their life, and so.
So that's the supposed story from the side of the white nationalists who were down at the University of Florida campus. I do have a story here from, thanks James for your call tonight. 3 Richard Spencer supporters arrested on charges of shooting at UF protesters. The only shot fired at Richard Spencer's University of Florida appearance missed its mark, and police said 2 of the 3 men arrested in connection with the shooting were members of extremist groups. Authorities arrested Tyler Tenbrink of Richmond, Texas, and William and Colton Fears of Pasadena, Texas, just outside of the city late Thursday night. That's a long way to go and see some a-hole.
For a peaceful protest.
All 3 were charged with attempted murder. In this case, protesters stood Thursday at the University of Florida to unite against Richard Spencer, a prominent white nationalist who was speaking on campus just before 5:30 as protesters outside of his speech at the Phillips Center were wrapping up. Gainesville police said the trio started heckling some anti-Spencer protesters with Hitler chants, Nazi salutes, and threats. At one point, cops said convicted felon Tenbrink pulled out a gun, and the brothers encouraged him to use it. He fired a single shot that missed the group.
That's because he's already been in prison and they don't want to go.
Police said they sped off then in a silver Jeep. An off-duty Alachua County Sheriff's officer spotted the car 20 miles outside of town at around 9 p.m. and arrested the group. The Fears brothers are held on $1 million bonds in the Alachua County Jail. Tenbrink's is $3 million.
Jeez.
So isn't this interesting? The white supremacists here who actually fired a gun, or at least one of them did, fired a gun at a group of people.
Got a bond.
They get $1 million or $3 million bond. Whereas Chris Cantwell, who's accused of simply using pepper spray in Virginia, was given no bond whatsoever. Of course, they're two different states, but regardless, I mean, it's a clear discrepancy there in how they're treating these people.
So sooner or later, if you keep on going to peaceful protests and there keeps on
being
occurring violence, perhaps these aren't the places to go to get whatever your message is out.
Well, obviously, these are the kind of people who want to have a fight. It seems
That's what
pretty
it looks
clear.
like.
Seems pretty clear. Both Tenbrink and one of the Fierce brothers were spotted in Charlottesville a couple of months ago, which, if you've been listening to the show, you know there was a showdown there as well, and that's kind of where a lot of this tension really started to build was during the fights there. The Fears identifies himself on Twitter as, quote, a charismatic leader of a white breeding cult. A white breeding cult. So that is, I've never heard of that before. So there's a cult of people that are white supremacists who have built this cult around the idea of having sex.
Well, this is not unusual.
They're cult leaders.
Well, it's the idea
to
is
save the white people.
Yeah, the idea is that whatever your message might be, that you've got to breed out the enemy, and this has been purported in the Liberty Movement too.
Tenbrink and Colton Fears, age 28, were two of very few pro-Spencer activists who spoke to media Thursday. Tenbrink was captured on video jumping a police barricade to avoid angry protesters and was promptly detained by police. And protesters marched against the appearance of Richard Spencer, who is yet another one of these white nationalist national figure types who the University of Florida spent about $500,000 with security funds.
Yeah. For this
ridiculous
and still didn't stop
nonsense. So there's more coming up here. You can share your thoughts and bring up whatever you want. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Hour number 3 is on the way. This is Free Talk Live.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealestate.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, October 21st, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.04 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,281 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.6 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,063. Antiwar.com reports the city of Dickinson, Texas is accepting applications for aid for victims of Hurricane Harvey, but the city is raising eyebrows with the text of their application form, which compels all applicants to swear they are not boycotting Israel and will not boycott Israel for the duration of the aid deal. It's not clear why this is the case. The state of Texas did pass a law forbidding the state from employing contractors who boycott Israel, but the city's form makes no indication that this is an extension of that law. Indeed, the form mentions the funds provided coming from various individuals, businesses, and other organizations to help recover from the hurricane. The ACLU is filing suit, arguing this is unconstitutional, and adding that it is absolutely unconscionable for state and local governments to impose political litmus tests for disaster relief funds. Texas Governor Greg Abbott was an outspoken proponent of the law, declaring that any anti-Israel policy is an anti-Texas policy. Multiple states have such a law, but this appears to be the first time anyone has tried to use it to withhold aid. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. UPI reports the percentage of Americans without health insurance rose to 12.3% in the third quarter, according to a Gallup survey released on Friday. The rate of uninsured American adults increased 1.4% since the end of 2016, meaning about 3.5 million people are now without health insurance. The uninsured rate is below the peak of 18% in the third quarter of 2013, prior to access through the exchanges created by the Affordable Care Act. A Gallup statement suggested that the end of some insurance companies' involvement in healthcare exchanges, a rise in premiums due to a lack of provider competition, and uncertainty surrounding U.S. healthcare law may be contributing to the increase in the rate of uninsured American adults. President Donald Trump canceled cost-sharing payments that subsidize insurance plans for low-income Americans on October 13th. He also intervened to deny waivers to certain ACA rules in Iowa, and his administration missed a deadline to apply similar waivers in Oklahoma. Iowa faces a 2018 premium rate hike of 56%, according to their two senators. Oklahoma's health commissioner predicted a premium increase of 30% next year. On Wednesday, Trump said he is opposed to a new bipartisan congressional plan that maintains subsidies for ACA healthcare exchanges. The Gallup survey was based on over 45,000 interviews of adults over the age of 18 from July 1st through September 30th, conducted as part of the Gallup ShareCare Wellbeing Index. Respondents were asked if they have health insurance. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Roy Reuters reports President Donald Trump has stepped up the pressure on the NFL over protest by its players during the national anthem by launching a petition and asking his supporters to show their patriotism by signing it. The move came after NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell this week rejected calls from Trump to punish players who kneel during the national anthem to protest racism. The petition, published on the website for the Republican National Committee, says the president has asked for a list of supporters who stand for the national anthem. Add your name below to show your patriotism and support. The website, however, did not indicate how many signatures had been received. Players kneeling during the Star-Spangled Banner are protesting the killing of unarmed minorities by police across the United States, as well as protesting racial disparities in the country's criminal justice system. Former San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick, who first popularized the gesture last year, said he settled on kneeling as a form of protest because kneeling is widely seen as a gesture of respect. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Allison Fry and Peter Hartman are a long-term couple. They've been trying out an open relationship that frees them to emotionally burden and exhaust other people.
We're both grown-ups. We both trust each other. It just seemed like the right time to open ourselves up to meeting other people and barraging them with our crippling emotional neediness.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I still want to vent to Allison about all the anxieties I have at the office until she wishes I would just shut the up. But sometimes you just get the urge to sap the life out of a different woman for a change.
The flexible arrangement has allowed Fry and Hartman to participate in a variety of tiresome and psychologically draining one-off encounters with partners ranging from close acquaintances to total strangers.
Of course, there was a time when I couldn't imagine saddling anyone but Peter with my extensive emotional baggage and trust issues, but now that we've tried it...
The best part is, when we're back together, all we really want to do is drain the living out of each other.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program, the live Saturday edition of the show, where you can take control of the airwaves. You can bring up anything that you want. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
We're going to go back to your phone calls and thoughts. We get the chance. We'll tell you about the police in New York. They've been accused of having sex with a teenage girl. They claim it was consensual, even though she was in custody. And The Intercept has that story. We'll share it with you if we get the chance. But again, your calls come first, so let's go to the phones. To the fun, we got Tom. He's in Baltimore. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live to start things out this hour. Hello, Tom. Tom in Baltimore. Hey there.
More bad decisions by those damn police. What's wrong with those people?
I know, it's crazy.
It is crazy. Very disappointing, very disappointing. By the way, Mark brought up some excellent points. A lot of what I was going to talk about relative to responsibility, the whole flag and NFL issue really being a red herring. He's right. We've got so many serious issues going on in this country that I really do believe it's a red herring. And he also touched on another point I was going to bring up. That is the forces that be, or the powers that be, working diligently to divide people. Now,
sure.
On the flip side of that coin, I don't think it's totally construed and made up on their behalf and for their benefit. And by their benefit, I mean government in general. Someone talked about what difference would it make if Russia had actually infiltrated this government. I'll be honest with you, I think at the highest levels, governments around the world are in cahoots with one another to a certain extent, and that is they're looking out for their best interest. You look for a common denominator to see where people might, or groups might fall in together to work for the benefit, usually not for the benefit, but for the detriment of other peoples. And I find that governments around the world at the highest levels are seeking control. That
sure.
They're in a battle with the people for sovereignty.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, you can look at one example, the governments of the world, they all have passports. They all have, there's some level of standards between many of those passports, and that's because they don't want anybody running off any plantation and going somewhere without the other plantation's permission. So that to some extent they do work together.
I don't think that's the best
stuff.
example. I think a really great example is, for instance, Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un. You know, here are two, chubby guys with bad haircuts arguing with each other, and how many millions of people's lives are in peril because of it. I mean, this is a conflict of personality that's going on, right? Like, and these guys want to have, they want to be perceived in certain ways by certain people, mostly their people, and perceived in positive manners, and they're willing to puff up their chest and, thump their chests like a gorilla at each other, but they're not going to fight. I mean, right now, I'm laying down the gauntlet. I will put together the pay-per-view event between our reality TV star and their little chubby dictator.
Can you imagine how much money you'd make on that if that was for real? Like,
where
you could really...
they fight with long knives and small shields.
I'd pay $50 to see that. I really would.
In loincloths.
If it was to the death, I'd pay $50.
Well, that'd be up to them. If Donald Trump, who I believe probably could win on this one, he's got reach, and that's important. If Donald Trump, I'm willing to give Kim Jong-un a 2-inch longer knife just because of it.
Try to even the odds a little bit.
Yeah, Kim Jong-un's young, Donald Trump's old.
Good point.
It could be tough.
Yeah.
Right, and if they truly were brave men, they would be willing to do this.
Right. Well, I mean, by default, politicians aren't brave men. That's why they, are politicians.
No, they have brave men fight and die for them.
Right. Tom, go ahead.
There's a fellow by the name of John Perkins who wrote a book called Confessions of an Economic Hitman.
Yeah.
I read it probably going on 2 decades ago. Maybe not quite that long, but I found the book to be quite credible, and I thought it was very revealing. It brought to light a lot of things that a lot of people had suspected, myself included, relative to our country's interference with other countries around the world. And I bring that up because when you bring up North Korea, we simply don't know what kind of provocations our country has been doing and involved in relative to getting North Korea possibly to do the things that they've done. We really just don't have firsthand information, and certainly by past acts, we can't really trust what we hear from our own government.
Sure. You can't trust what you hear from the North Korean government, and you can't trust what you hear from the U.S. government either.
Yeah, and I've never heard, you hear a lot about what this North Korean leader says, but I've never actually heard him speak and have it translated properly. Even with the former Iranian leader, if you recall, some of his speeches, you could hear him speak and they were translated, and then it turned out that they weren't translating it properly, that they were turning words and phrases at just the appropriate time and just the appropriate way to make and to really change what it was that he was saying.
Right.
The big thing with, that situation, and I think with a lot of situations around the world, is the undue influence that the state of Israel has. A lot of things that we seem to get involved in really seem to serve the interests of Israel much more than our own country. That's not to say we wouldn't be involved in the same chicanery without the state of Israel's influence, but certainly they don't help. And again, it goes back to what I was saying and what you were agreeing with relative to governments and how really we have to be leery of all of them. My grandmother immigrated here from the former Czechoslovakia, which was a put-together state. It wasn't a real state. The Allied powers put that together, forcing people to be together, and that never works, just like you see here. You can't force people to live together and to integrate. It happens.
Nor should you force them apart. Yeah, the force is the problem. The force is what creates the unintended consequences. If people want to live together, they should be allowed to. If they want to live apart, they should be allowed to.
I wanted to ask you, I don't know if you want to hold me over or not, but I wanted to ask you about something you said relative to the speaker in Florida. You referred to him in a disparaging way. I don't know too much about him.
Richard Spencer, the low-life white supremacist? Yeah.
Right. Now, I wanted to ask you, do you refer to representatives of the Nation of Islam in the same manner. Because they have really the same beliefs.
Louis Farrakhan is a lowlife,
Yeah,
as far as
no
I'm
doubt.
concerned.
I've heard terrible things about them.
I would disagree with you. I don't have that big of a problem, because I don't have a problem with people being proud of who they are. You know,
That's different than committing murder.
Look, if as far as I'm concerned, I don't have a particular problem with pride. If what you're proud of is the color of your skin, you'd think you could go a little deeper and find a skill set maybe to be proud of. But fine, if that's what you want to be proud of, that's by all means. It's the disparaging people of other ethnicities where, in order to bolster your own, that just doesn't make any sense to me.
You're absolutely right, but I think we've gone so far in the other direction where it seems as though what the government or certain groups are trying to push is that you shouldn't be proud to be white and be proud of your heritage. You shouldn't be proud to be, well, it seems though you can be proud to be black. The one thing that's really frowned upon is being proud to be of European descent or of Caucasian.
Why don't you try just being proud of your own accomplishments? You know, or like your kids' accomplishments or something like that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, because the
either.
idea that just because somebody in the past had the same skin color as you and did something good, that you should be proud of that or feel like you're somehow part of that because you've got the same skin color, I think is pretty ridiculous, personally, whatever your skin color is.
But listen, let's look to our mothers. You know, there was a time, and you're probably of a generation that doesn't remember this, but you know, I remember having friends who were black, and their moms, you know, boy, they would be horrified if their kids brought home a white girl or an Asian girl. Now,
well, those times are changing. Tom, thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves and bring up whatever you want. It's Free Talk Live.
Don't do what I did and run out. If it's working, don't quit. Why would you stop? Why undo all the good that's been accomplished?
You've got to feed them right for life.
Dynavite is nutrition.
If I ever took Roy off of Dynavite...
No.
When I get to about 3/4...
When I get down to the bottom of my box of Dynavite, oh no, I've got a couple more scoops. It's time to place my order. Dynavite.com. DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Omega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Omega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dynavite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash and help us build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org. That's dash.org.
There is no such thing as attention span, according to Jerry Seinfeld, who figures that people have an infinite attention span if you are entertaining them. Hey, he's kept us from channel surfing for several decades, and now he's making more millions as a Las Vegas headliner. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're looking for work. So choose every single word as though it was the last word the person you're speaking to will hear. Otherwise, it might be. Avoid redundancies such as added bonus, advance warning, end result, prior history, or personal belongings. And avoid cliches like the plague. Just kidding. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you're invited to join us right here, toll-free, 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, 855-450-3733, and Skype on in to join us here. Skype username LRN.FM. Save at purse.com. Great place to go if you want to save big time on your purchases at Amazon. You can save easily 15, 20, 25% or more if you're patient. The more patient you are, the higher discount you can try for at saveatpurse.com. We've been using this site now for like 3 years, basically, and
is that how long?
It's amazing, but it has been
You've
that
saved
long.
thousands.
I've saved almost $2,000
We've
on
saved
this.
hundreds at my house.
And on the purchases I've made. And these are things I was going to buy anyway, so I was going to pay full price. I was willing to pay full price, but I didn't have to because I've got Bitcoin. And people want Bitcoin. They want it so badly, they're willing to pay 15, 20, 25% above what the normal cost of a Bitcoin is. And that's kind of how the site works. You can get all the details by going to saveatpurse.com, saveatpurse.com, and get started over there. If you don't have Bitcoin, then you really can't, or other cryptocurrencies, you really can't use Save It Purse. So you may want to consider getting some Bitcoin, especially considering the price has been going crazy recently, what with over $6,000 per Bitcoin. Record highs within the last 48 hours here for the Bitcoin currency. It's amazing. So check it out, saveatpurse.com, as we go to your calls. Your thoughts? Johnny Barbado is on the line listening in West Palm Beach. Hello, Johnny.
Yeah, it's Johnny Barbado here,
Hey, Johnny.
live in West Palm Beach, Florida.
You're on the radio. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, if DeAndre Harris is out on bail, I wanted to know if you think Christopher Cantwell should be out on bail, just judging on the evidence available
Who
online.
is DeAndre Harris?
DeAndre Harris, if you Google DeAndre Harris, the first link is CNN.com. Man beaten by white supremacists in Charlottesville is arrested. He was an African-American gentleman at this rally. He was seen on video being beaten by white supremacists, and later there was video evidence that came out that he was beating people as well, so he was arrested, but he's out on bail.
Yeah, okay.
now,
I think
and
Chris
was
called
wondering
about him last week, and I think as we said
called your
earlier,
show?
Christopher Cantwell, Chris called earlier tonight as well. Chris has...
I'll listen later.
Yeah, anyway.
Anybody can go back and listen to the show at, just by checking out freetalklive.com. We've got an archives section there at archives.freetalklive.com.
Yeah, Chris has been calling us, I don't know, at least once a week, I would say, over the last several weeks to kind of update us on some of these clear discrepancies when it comes to bail conditions and or charges and sentencing. And, yeah, I mean, we think Chris is a political prisoner, and it's clear that he's not a flight risk. He turned himself in the first place. So obviously bail should be set in that case, and the fact that it hasn't been set is a real indicator that they are out to get Chris, or at least so it seems.
I would also like to ask, don't you think it's unwise of him to be making all of these phone calls and YouTube videos from prison where he's stating very crude, vile opinions that most will think is very inappropriate?
Yeah, I don't know about any YouTube videos. What he's called in here on the show, we call him out when we think he's wrong, and look, I can't say what's going to be good or bad for his case, but it already looks like he's facing a certain level of injustice. So,
well, generally, a lawyer is going to tell you to keep your mouth shut when you are charged with something. So that might be where you're coming from on that, Johnny, is that it's generally a better idea to not say anything, especially when you're in the state's custody, because they're monitoring all your phone calls. And what you're referring to is Chris is making, I guess, he's doing his show from inside of jail. Not when he calls Free Talk Live, but he has his other show that he does, Radical Agenda, which is a racist talk show that he had done prior to getting arrested. And I guess some people on the outside are helping him continue to put those episodes together. I suspect that's what you're referring to when you talk about some of the despicable things that he's been saying. But ultimately, it's not like Chris hasn't admitted to using pepper spray. I mean, he's on video using pepper spray, so it's pretty clear that he sprayed some pepper spray. The only question at this point is, did he actually spray it at the people who are accusing him of spraying it at them? He says he didn't. But also the other question is, in Virginia, it seemed like from our cursory look at the laws down there that just having and using pepper spray even in self-defense may be considered illegal. So if that's true, then he's already admitted to having used pepper spray, and again, he's on video using it. So, I mean, if that's all they have to prove is, did Chris Cantwell have pepper spray within the geographical boundaries of the state of Virginia, if that's all they got to prove in the case, and I don't know. I haven't looked. I don't know what the exact charge is. I haven't looked at it in weeks, so I don't remember. But if that's all they got to prove, then they've got him dead to rights on that one. I think it's a terrible charge. I think Virginia is a terrible state as far as they've got some really pro-police state rules there. It's the one state you can't have a radar detector in, for instance, to give you some idea of how influential the police and the system are.
They all have crappy rules that help differentiate themselves.
That's true, but I think that's the only state where you can't have, and correct me if I'm wrong on that, I believe that is the only state of the 50 that you cannot have,
the only one I know of,
legally a radar detector. Johnny, thanks for your call tonight. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. Stuart, go ahead, Mark.
Let's see. Radar detectors are legal in aforementioned states, excluding Virginia.
Excluding Virginia.
Yeah, it looks like it's the only state.
That's what I thought.
But 10 states have legally banned laser jammers.
All right. Stuart in Indianapolis, listening to WIBC FM. Hey, Stuart.
Hey, how you doing today?
Hey, what's on your mind tonight?
Hey, I've been proud of you after this. Yeah, I'm a white man, but I had absolutely nothing to do with that. My parents need to take all the credit for that. Now, I take pride in not that I'm white, that I'm noble, that I'm a hard-working individual. I'm an immigrant from England who came over to America, who can make it here legally with and be a credit to society, be an upstanding man. I'm not in jail. I look after my son. I pay his way. That's the thing to be proud of. It's not a matter of being proud of the skin color that you are. Yes, I am that, and no, I cannot deny that.
Yep.
And say this. Painfully obvious that I'm a white man if you look at me and listen to me talk. But I have absolutely nothing to do with that. So how do you be proud of something that you've done unless you have nothing to do with?
I totally agree. It's the same kind of ridiculous idea that people are winners when their sports team wins. It's like they're proud of their team as though they had anything at all whatsoever to do with that situation. Or that in this case of people being proud of their skin color and whatever history that people have of that skin color. Because if you want to include the full history of the people that have whatever skin color we're talking about, whether it be white or black or yellow yellow or whatever, then you can also include the history of all the atrocities committed by the people who had that particular skin color as well. And that's obviously not something to be proud of, nor is it something to be ashamed of, because, again, you didn't do those things. Whether it's atrocities or, wonderful inventions or, things of accomplishment, again, if you didn't do it, you don't really have a right to be proud about. I mean, you can feel however you want.
Responsible or sad or any of those things.
You can feel however you want to feel. Stuart, great call tonight, man. Thanks for making it. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. But, maybe you should have something that you did that is worth being proud of, because that makes more sense to me. But you can share how you feel. 855-450-FREE, and join us.
Chad here, owner of Infidel Body Armor. With the shooting in Vegas, there will be calls to ban guns and body armor. You can expect prices to rise dramatically in the coming weeks as gun grabbers try to outlaw your freedom. If you don't have your armor kit yet, you're behind the curve. Don't miss your window of opportunity. Go to infidelbodyarmor.com and click on Specials. That's infidelbodyarmor.com.
Dr. Carolyn Dean wants you to have a free chapter of her new book, The Magnesium Miracle 2nd Edition, and it's available at magmiracle.com. In your free chapter, Dr. Carolyn Dean explains how magnesium is essential to support the structure and function and overall health of your body. Your free chapter is your guide to learn how to support your heart, bone, metabolic, lung, and mental health with this powerful mineral. The Magnesium Miracle 2nd Edition is available on Amazon, but right now get a free chapter at magmiracle.com, spelled M-A-G, miracle.com.
Free Talk Live.
What are you going to do about it? Instead of sitting on a microphone, what are you going to do about it?
I've stopped paying income tax. My partner spent 60 days in jail for standing in the way of a police car that was taking somebody to jail that he didn't believe should be taken to jail.
So I've done cop blocking, I've done outreach, I've done all kinds of stuff. Do you need more? I've run for political office, I've gone to the State House and testified many times, and I also do civil disobedience. What else can I do?
It's like it's pathetic, really. I mean, it's
What's
bad.
pathetic, sir? What's pathetic?
You are. The two of you are.
How's that exactly?
The two of you are, because you're pathetic. You just sit there and rail about stuff that you don't do a thing about.
What are you doing, Danny? Tell me something I could do that's not pathetic.
I'm not hosting a show. I'm not hosting a show. I'm not the one that comes.
So you have no ideas. You have nothing original.
He's got microphone
and
in
now you're going bye-bye.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Join us on the radio. Here our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Don't forget to check out Bitcoin.com if you want to learn more about Bitcoin. It's a great place to get started, although learning about Bitcoin is going to get a little more complicated over the next few weeks because there are threatening to be a couple more forks or schisms, if you will, within these Bitcoin networks, which could result in 3 to 4 competing things calling themselves Bitcoin in the marketplace. But you know, when people like former Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke are on the attack against Bitcoin, it's probably time to start taking a look seriously at getting some of it. That's reason enough right there. If Ben Bernanke says it's a bad idea, it's probably something worth looking at.
The guy that told us that there was no housing crisis, the guy that told us there was going to be no Great Recession, all these things, everything's fine.
You're ready to get into Bitcoin, go to Bitcoin.com. And if you want to go all the way in and you want to take a side on which direction Bitcoin should go in the future, put your money where your mouth is, so to speak, then you can get in the Bitcoin mining pool over at pool.bitcoin.com. You can also get in the hopes of actually making something at it, but I got to say, with all of the turmoil in the Bitcoin world right now, anything's possible when it comes to these mining contracts at this time. I don't know what it's going to look like on the other side of November once we get through these forks. So in my opinion, at this point, if you're getting into Bitcoin mining, you're doing it to support one particular form of Bitcoin over another, to literally put your money behind that particular network. You go to pool.bitcoin.com. There is a calculator there that'll help you understand what you could make, presuming things go on as they have been. But I don't think you can make that presumption at this point in the game. But regardless, if you want to get into Bitcoin mining, go to pool.bitcoin.com. There is a 100% uptime guarantee. The website's super easy to use. And again, go to pool.bitcoin.com. And we'll see how it all pans out, Mark, because you and I were doing this Bitcoin mining thing.
Yeah.
I'm mining the Bitcoin Cash, which may have been a mistake to switch over to Bitcoin Cash because it's not as profitable as the Bitcoin Core, which you were mining, but then you said you changed to the option which they give you at pool.bitcoin.com to allow the pool to decide.
No, I didn't say I was changing that. I said that was an option. I said I was going to change to it, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet.
Doesn't sound like you've tried, because using their site's not very hard in my experience. But
help me out. Show me how.
All right, pool.bitcoin.com. I don't know, Mark. You're the one who told me that feature existed. I haven't been on the site in a couple months.
Maybe one of our amplifiers will tell me in the amplifier group on Facebook.
All right, let's go to your calls and thoughts. Sarah is in Albuquerque. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah.
Yes, I just want to mention, did you know that the Russians knew that our U.S. lunar landing was a fake?
Oh, come on.
All right. Go ahead. Give us your proof.
The proof is that I was listening to that late night show, and one of the callers that had that program, he mentioned that.
That's not proof.
A caller to Coast.
That late night show is what she said, but yes, presumably that's what she was listening to.
Yeah. That's about as far from a source as there could be. But go ahead. Tell me what they said.
Hold on. Just let's be clear. A caller to a talk show is not necessarily an expert, and even if they are an expert, it's still not actual proof. That's just somebody making a claim without any kind of evidence or verification of that claim. I mean, basically, you're talking about hearsay. You heard it from somebody. You did not have personal experience with this. You heard it from somebody who probably heard it from somebody or saw it on some website. So what else do you have?
Well, I don't know. He was one of the guests. So
that doesn't mean anything.
Something more about it.
I can call up all kinds of crackpots tomorrow, and a bunch of them will want to be on the radio as a guest. If I say I've got a radio show on 160 radio stations, and do you want to come on and talk about your crackpot theory? And, if I don't say crackpot, do you want to come on and talk about your theory to our national audience? Every single one of them is going to say yes, because they're desperate for attention.
Well, the thing is, there was a lot of talks about that it was a fake. I heard it from many.
There was a lot of talk about that, and you can find it on the internet too. You can find pictures on the internet of people who believe that the moon landing was a fake.
Do you think the moon's flat, Sarah?
Oh God.
Well, it's circular. But
circles are flat.
There was another show with satellite photos of the cities on the moon.
No.
And the life on the moon, the city has been talked about in the Emanuel Swedenborg book. The Hare Krishna book talks about it. And plus, the Russians
They talk about it in Marvel Comics, too. That's where the Inhumans live.
Yeah, there's a lot of fantasy novels that have fantastic ideas on them, Sarah, but without any evidence. And if there were cities on the moon, it would be relatively easy to get evidence. I mean, it's one thing to claim that there's alien civilizations on other planets like Mars. Those are pretty far away. It's hard to really verify those claims in any meaningful sense. Yeah, they sent up the Mars lander and it kind of puttered around before it died or whatever. You could have argued that the aliens were hiding from the Mars lander. It's kind of hard to duplicate that particular experience. But as far as the claim that there are cities on the moon, the moon is not far. People have visited the moon. They could go back and check out those claims, but no such verification exists. And if you're claiming that the cities are on the front side of the moon, then anybody with a simple, telescope could verify those claims. So is your claim that the cities are all on the dark side of the moon?
Well, they have satellite image photos, but they are kept under a secret. Like they're not allowed to release it.
Well, then how do you know they exist?
How would they get a satellite image photo? The same side of the moon always faces the Earth, so they'd have to have satellites around the moon. The satellite with a satellite.
Well, the thing is, we have satellites that go far as to Mars or whatever. We have enough
it's not a satellite.
That's closer to the moon.
It's a probe.
Get the pictures, but it's suppressed. Nobody's allowed to talk about it. In fact, it was talked about on that show.
Very few people talk about getting probed.
Show.
Yep.
I'd say a lot of people talk about getting probed. That's another thing they talk about on those shows, those overnight
How many times you've been probed?
shows.
It's kept a secret.
By whom?
Nobody's allowed to talk about it.
Sarah, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. Yeah, I mean, you got to have some level of skepticism. I mean, I can understand.
No, apparently you don't.
I can understand wanting to believe something is true. I get it. I mean, that's a cool idea, right? Like there's cities on the moon. That's a neat idea. Unfortunately, it just doesn't hold any water. Considering the moon doesn't have any water and it doesn't actually have any kind of atmosphere whatsoever.
How did water get on Earth if there's no water on the moon?
Huh?
How did water? Okay. All the water came from where?
I don't know.
Space.
Science.
Yeah. It didn't come from science. Science is a concept, you chooch. All right. So if water came from, if the moon is a chunk of the Earth, and that is the prevailing theory.
I've heard that theory.
Yeah. Where did all the water that would have ended up on the moon go?
It got knocked off when the moon got knocked away from the Earth.
You don't even know what you're talking about. There's ice on the moon.
Is there ice on the moon? I thought I might have heard that
my
somewhere.
Understanding. Yeah.
Well, regardless, there's no atmosphere there, right? Or not much of one.
Not much of one. They may have been that there was an
there.
atmosphere at one point, but
you can't breathe on the moon.
No, certainly not.
Which would
you
mean
can't. But that doesn't mean that people could not. I don't know. There would be some thin atmosphere, and some kind of creature could breathe it. I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess we didn't ask Sarah who built the cities or the kind of people or things that live in those cities, because again, it's just an absolutely ridiculous theory. Let's go to more ridiculousness. He's Ricky in Pennsylvania. You're on Free Talk Live.
That's the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania there, brother.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, brother Mark.
How are you?
Doing all right. I guess you heard me call in last night, I guess, brother
You
Mark.
okay?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I just listen to your calls some nights and just make me sad. That's all.
Well, don't be sad, Ricky. You're on the radio, and people around the world are listening to you right now. So what important things do you have to share with them tonight?
Well, it's just the state of things of people. The reason why I wear my Southern Cross, my battle flag of the North Virginia Army. That's very specific why I chose that one, because on May 9th, 1865, the Civil War came to a close, but the battle for freedom and independence continues on to this day.
There's no doubt about that. Thanks for the call tonight, Ricky. The toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Yep, there is a lot more that needs to be done before freedom will ever, be a thing.
War is probably not the solution.
Yeah, I agree with you there. All right, more on the way. You can take control of the airwaves here. This is Free Talk Live. The remaining moments coming up.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are two Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
If your dog has shedding, dry skin, excessive scratching, I would recommend Dynovite.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Mega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dynovite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dynovite. Dynovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
How did you become addicted? A friend? Were you at a party and someone said, "Hey, try this"? Then you got the cold sweats and started shaking. And the more you did it, the more it didn't work. So you switched to the needle. Now you're a train wreck. Drinking, drugging, broke. Your family hates you, and you hate you. Get out of your hell on earth now. Call the Detox and Treatment Helpline today for immediate help. In many cases, your insurance may cover the costs. We can't guarantee it, but we can guarantee we have what you need to change your life for the better. Pick up your cell phone and call right now. 855-700-2979. 855-700-2979. 855-700-2979. That's 855-700-2979.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video or audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait on account. Now. Wait a minute.
Really forget it.
Whoa. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you're scared me.
Property.
What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com. I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us on the radio. If you want to take control of the airwaves, you can do that here. 855-450-FREE. Like freedom with you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
855-450-3733. And you can join us online anytime you want over at freetalklive.com. Mark, what's the latest from hope.freetalklive.com?
I'm hopefully going to be wrapping up the fundraiser for Hope for the building of the orphanage in Jinji, Uganda this week. I would really like to get it all taken care of. If you go ahead and you want to donate, you want to get involved, you want to help these 40 or so orphans in Jinji, Uganda to have a place to sleep, wash themselves so they can go to school, have a little place to put a few possessions. You could just go to hope.freetalklive.com. Your donation will be matched by both Jax.io and GetSell411.com, meaning that your $100 donation will be a $300 donation. That's pretty impressive. And it doesn't have to be $100, but I've been getting a lot of $25 and $20 donations here recently. It's hope.freetalklive.com. If you're into cryptocurrency, there aren't very many cryptocurrency fundraisers out there. It's certainly not at this level. And you can certainly donate with cryptocurrency. It's hope.freetalklive.com.
So, the story that we teased at the very beginning of the show from theintercept.com, September 28th, attorney Michael David filed notice of claim against the New York Police Department, the City of New York, and two, as of then, unnamed police officers referred to as John and Jim Doe. These plainclothes cops alleged the claim, quote, brutally sexually assaulted and raped, unquote, his 18-year-old female client. David told me that within a day he needed to amend the claim. The officers had been identified by the police in the press as Brooklyn South narcotics detectives Richard Hall and Edward Martins. What was strange, said David, was that within only 2 or 3 hours of me filing, there was a story leaked to the New York Post saying that the detectives were claiming that the sex they had with my client in custody was consensual. They hadn't even been named yet. The attorney told me he believes the police were trying to get ahead of the story. At a time of elevated public awareness about police violence and sexual assault, these detectives' apparent defensive tack raises troubling questions about the way cops approach these national plagues. Let us be clear. Someone in police custody cannot give consent in any meaningful sense of the word to the officer who's holding them.
No.
Claiming to have received consent, whether it is based in any truth or not, betrays a policing culture that refuses to recognize its own outsized power over those it alleges to protect and serve. The Brooklyn District Attorney's Office is currently investigating the case to determine whether the claim of consent is credible under the law, but the fact that consent seems to be on offer as a defense at all speaks to how the police themselves view rape, a dynamic that needs immediate redress. The accusations against Hall and Martins detail brutal rape in no uncertain terms. The young woman, who goes by the name Anna Chambers on social media but is withholding her legal name, says that on September 15th, she and two male friends were driving near Brighton Beach. They were pulled over by the undercover detectives for being in a park after closing time. And their car...
Undercover detectives are worrying about who's in a park after closing time?
Apparently. Well, that's generally what young people do when they want to go and get high, is they'll go to parks, which is a terrible idea.
What's a detective doing with that?
Apparently looking for young people who want to get high in parks. The police found drugs in a bag next to Ms. Chambers. One friend was also found with pills on his person. The cops handcuffed only Chambers and drove her away in an unmarked van. The teen then alleges that police drove to a nearby Chipotle parking lot and, while she remained handcuffed, forced her to perform oral sex on them.
That doesn't sound anything like consent.
One officer, she said, then raped her before leaving her on a street corner near the 60th precinct. According to her attorney, she went to a hospital that night and was given a rape kit. Law enforcement sources told the New York Post that the DNA found on Chambers matched the two officers, a fact confirmed by the teen's attorney. Quote, I'm so hurt by this situation, Chambers told me via Twitter direct message before referring me to her lawyer. David said she's devastated. She doesn't leave home. She's extremely depressed and has been victimized again by these cops saying it was consensual. This was a kidnapping and this was rape. Unquote. An NYPD spokesbureaucrat said Wednesday both officers have been suspended and that the Internal Affairs Bureau is working with the DA in an ongoing investigation. The New York Post reported Wednesday evening that a grand jury has been convened to hear evidence against the two officers. The detective said the attorney should have been arrested that night. Chambers' attorney was keen to stress that his client was a petite teenager. She looks about 15 years old, the lawyer told me. Chambers' social media accounts show her partying and posing for the camera, not unusual for a teen. The New York Post opted to illustrate some of its coverage of the case with pictures of her pouting in a tiny bikini. The victim's diminutive stature and young appearance may be important in the legal case, perhaps speaking to the cop's attitudes and assumptions, but the possible condition of consent here should not be predicated on her size, appearance, or attitude. Likewise, being handcuffed throughout the ordeal, as she claims, could prove crucial in a criminal trial. But even she had been released from the cuffs, but even
if she had been released.
I think they mean to say if, but it's not in here. Okay. But even if she had been released from the cuffs at some point, the condition of police detention is its own restraint. Such is the power imbalance and the impossibility of consent. And, we've had stories that are similar to this. There was the one story of the New Hampshire police chief who was forcing, under the threat of, we'll let you off these charges, little missy, having young girls in college take off their clothes in the police basement for his camera. And he got in some trouble for that because, again,
he had photographic evidence.
It's not consent when those things happen. Even if he's not physically taking their clothes off of them, if they're taking them off themselves, they're doing it because they're under duress. I mean, it seems so basic and clear, the idea that the New York police would even dare to put forward this.
All of them. It's two of them attempting to get ahead of the story, as they say.
Well, but according to the story here, there was, I guess what it says here, a story was leaked to the New York Post, so who knows where that actually came from. But regardless, there's a little bit more. The reason you have Miranda warnings is precisely because of the coercive effect of being in custody. This according to a New York-based civil rights attorney. She said, the idea that you can't give knowing and voluntary consent to answering questions, but you could to sex, would be risible if it weren't so horrifically nauseating. Yet our current legal statutes fail to recognize this inherently coercive effect when it comes to on-duty rape claims. Under New York penal law, there can be no consensual sex between corrections officers and prisoners in their charge, nor between a patient committed to a hospital and those charged with their supervision. Yet there is no such law for the police. While, as the NYPD spokesman told me, quote, it is against department policy to have sex on duty, unquote, the law does not preclude consensual sex between an arresting officer and a person in their custody. Quote, it seems wholly appropriate to point out the inadequacy of the law in this case, according to a professor of sociology at Brooklyn College who said, quote, it seems clear that it was the intent of the legislature to protect people in police custody, but the wording now says the protection only kicks in when you get to the station house. This should be changed. So they got around it by having sex with her in the back of the police van,
right?
Apparently. Even if the laws around on-duty rape were expanded, there's little doubt that police would continue to presume the levels of impunity to which they're accustomed. In the case of the claim that Hall and Martin's, quote, brutally sexually assaulted and raped, unquote, Chambers' attorney said that such brazen conduct suggested a presumption that there would be no consequences, which also suggests that it's not the first time they've done this.
Yeah. I still want to know what detectives are doing picking up kids who are in the park too late. It just doesn't. I mean, that's not their job. Detectives are out solving sort of real high-profile crimes.
That's what you'd like to think. Officers have been convicted for committing rape while on duty. Former Oklahoma police officer Daniel Holtzclaw was convicted of multiple counts of on-duty rape against over a dozen women in 2015 and sentenced to 263 years in prison. It was a rare moment in a criminal justice system inclined to enable police violence and disbelieve their victims. Another serial rapist cop, Anthony Rollins, was sentenced to 87 years for his rape convictions. As in Chambers' case, Rollins stated he had violated policy by having sex on the job, but claimed that the encounters were consensual. His attorney said he had, quote, sinned, unquote, but didn't break the law. The judge and jury disagreed, but based on the facts of the case, not because consent was legally and notionally impossible. No other woman appears to have made accusations against these officers in New York. According to publicly available records, Chambers' claim of rape has to stand alone against two officers asserting she consented. If the letter of the law won't recognize such a defense as untenable by virtue of the power structures at play, then the hope is for a judicial process that will uphold this young survivor's credibility. But this case should not be about whether a rape occurred. In an environment with a critical view on policing's coercive power, the officer's admission to sex would be read as an admission of rape, and Chambers would have to prove nothing at all.
So, do you think I'm willing to call this abuse of power to the point of rape, right? Mm-hmm. And they mentioned people in hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think what other power dynamics would you call rape too? Teachers and students?
That's a good question. We don't really have time to get into it here tonight. So if you want, we can talk about it tomorrow night online. In the meantime, between now and then, you can join us over at freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, Hey, who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video or audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. This is...
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Forget it.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm. The Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM presents the latest episode of The Voluntary Life. Download it and listen to more at thevoluntarylife.com.
You're listening to The Voluntary Life, where you can hear ideas for finding freedom in an unfree world. Visit thevoluntarylife.com to connect with the show and hear all past episodes. Here's your host, Jake.
Hi, it's Jake here. Welcome to The Voluntary Life. This week's episode is about entrepreneurship, and I'm going to talk about how I got Estonian e-residency and why that might be interesting for you too. Before we get to that, I just want to say a big thank you to my new patron on Patreon. Thank you so much, TSK, for your generous pledge. I've just put out the 8th bonus episode for my patrons about customizing Evernote for productivity, giving an explanation of my own personal Evernote hacks for productivity. So if you're interested in becoming a supporter of the show, you can find out more about how to become a patron of The Voluntary Life on my website, thevoluntarylife.com, or directly on my Patreon page, which is at patreon.com/thevoluntarylife. And I'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. So I thought I would tell you a bit more about my own experience of becoming an e-resident of Estonia. I've had a few people ask me about this since I did some interview podcasts a while ago with other people who've become e-residents of Estonia. And I thought I'd just explain why I've done this, why I think the e-residency scheme in Estonia is really interesting, and give you a bit of an outline of the process in case this is something that you're curious about so that you can consider it for yourself. So what on earth is the Estonian e-residency program? Well, as a bit of background to this, I'll explain a bit about why Estonia has set this program up and what it's all about. So Estonia is a small European country. It's one of the Baltic states. It was formerly part of the Soviet Union, got its independence in the 1990s, and it's now part of the European Union. But as a very small country, it doesn't have a huge amount of natural resources or other resources, but it does have a very technical and well-educated workforce. And the government of Estonia has developed this program to try and encourage business in Estonia called e-residency. Since there aren't a lot of natural resources, but there are a lot of technical and educated people in Estonia, the government has focused on trying to be a kind of digital e-commerce hub within Europe, and to encourage lots of high-tech, small-scale entrepreneurs, including location-independent entrepreneurs. And what they're trying to do is encourage people to start businesses in Estonia. So they've set up this scheme called e-residency. And what this scheme gives you is essentially a government ID for the purposes of online contracts in Estonia. So it gives you permission to engage in certain contracts in Estonia and engage in certain activities, like, for example, starting and running a business based in Estonia. So it's not a real residency in the sense of, allowing you to go and live in Estonia or anything like that. It's a so-called e-residency in that it allows you to set up a business that is, in particular, run online and based in Estonia. So you can access services online from the government and submit forms online, sign contracts online, and submit taxes and all of that kind of thing. So the government of Estonia have done this because they want to attract digital nomad businesses, and they're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to do everything that you can do online. And they also have some very interesting and favorable tax rules regarding businesses. In particular, you don't pay company tax until you actually disperse money to shareholders. So in other words, if you reinvest your profits each year in your company and continue to grow your company, as most startups tend to do for many years in the early stage, then you won't be paying corporation tax on those reinvested profits. So that's a little bit of a background about what the Estonian government has done in setting up this e-residency scheme. Now, the thing is that it's potentially a very interesting scheme for anyone who wants to run an online business, and especially for people who are nomadic. If you are doing a lot of nomad entrepreneurship where you're living in different places and traveling a lot, and you want to run your business online, Estonia is one of the countries that has tried to make that as easy as possible. So you've got this interesting combination between quite favorable tax laws for startups and also a system that's set up to make it as easy as possible for you to be a digital nomad and run your business from anywhere in the world online. But Estonian e-residency itself is what you need before you could even consider starting a business. So what I'm talking about in this episode is just getting the identity card, the digital card, that gives you e-residency that would then give you the permission to go and set up a business if you wanted to. And I actually have done that. I've set up a business in Estonia. But what I'm talking about today is just getting the card itself. So why would you want to do that? Well, I think this is relevant for anyone who might want to establish a business inside the EU, and in particular inside the Eurozone. And especially if you plan to move around and you need to have a business located somewhere that you could manage online and do a lot of traveling. So given my own lifestyle and the fact that my wife and I have been traveling for many years and we intend to do more travel and live in different places in the world, this is a very practical way of being able to manage a business online. But even if you are not yet in a position where you definitely are setting up a business, I think it's worth getting Estonian e-residency just for the fun of it and to have the opportunity in future to set up a business in Estonia if you want to, because you can do this now. And I don't know how long you will be able to get Estonian e-residency this easily. It might be more difficult in the future, but for now, it's very cheap and easy. It only costs €100.